Look, we back at it. Homegrown Radio, Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head, live from the A, our very first show in the A. We're not at Fab Factory today.
No, we in Atlanta. And listen, shout out to my nigga Wayno because I want a full transparency on this, okay? I got him out the house on the Sunday.
This is crazy.
I appreciate you.
Facts.
Wayno is here.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate your time, brother. I mean, for the folks that don't know, EVP and A&R, Quality Control Music.
We here at QC.
We here at QC.
Thank you for
that. He came out the house and let us into the building, so we appreciate that.
Hey, man,
brother.
y'all brothers always treat, you know what I mean? Y'all always treat me with, we got a mutual respect for all of one another, you know what I mean? So, like, whatever y'all need on my side, I always got y'all.
And I appreciate you for the Sunday.
Oh, come on. Listen, man, I was just fucking with you. I mean, I don't come out on Sunday, but because I called you and you ain't answered, I'm like, see, I'm super on time, like super duper on time, because I'm like, anything that I have to do that I not necessarily don't have to do, but like I could just be chilling today. Like Sunday, my chill day, to get ready for the Monday of Madness through Saturday. You feel me? So it's cool.
Appreciate you.
I totally get that, man. Especially running around with him. I'm glad you verified and called because it could have been a wild goose chase. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
dog. So I mean, I definitely want to talk about your journey. You know how you got to where you are right now, man. Yeah. And for the folks that aren't familiar with your story, man, being from New York and having so many pivotal moments in hip hop and just to where you are, your journey right now. Where did it all start for Wayno? Like, this journey into the music industry. Was it always that, or did something kind of like lead into?
Nah, I got into music because I was trying to stay out of trouble, bro. That's what it really was.
I mean, to an end?
I mean, the thing was, it was, we've all been 14, 15-year-old boys. You know what I mean? And around that time, I didn't, when I got to high school, I didn't have like a gel. And what I mean by that is like, I lived in 5 different places and went to 5 different schools in those 5 years leading up to high school. So I didn't, like, when you going through middle school, some people go from the same friends from elementary to middle to high school, and then y'all figure out college. By the time I was going into middle school, I was graduating. I moved to a different side of town. I was trying to, we moved, then the next grade, 7th grade, moved to another side of town. Well, not another side of town. 7th grade, I moved to Maryland for a year.
Damn.
Yeah, we moved to Maryland for a year, and then 1 year after that, we was back in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? And then we was living in the shelter system, and then my mom was like, yo, we gonna get about this shit. When we got out of it, we moved, and I was graduating to the 9th grade. So when people around that time, you kind of like get in a kind of a sense of who you are. Like, you got the same friends, y'all might be playing ball or whatever y'all doing it together. I didn't never have none of that. So like, by the time I was a teenager, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do in school.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't even really understand school by that point because I had moved around so much. And it wasn't that, like, my mom was just trying to figure shit out. You know what I mean?
But you knew what you didn't want to do, though.
Not really.
No, so you was open.
I was open. Bro, I didn't know.
So you would have been a waste management professional.
If I knew that today, if I knew how much money it made, absolutely, I would have did that shit. But I was, when I moved to Harlem, bro, it's like that's my first experience. Like, I moved to Harlem when I was like 12, 13. Like, that's when I started to experience like really seeing shit for what it was, like seeing people in the street, all those types of things. And now I'm attracted to, because now the guy I'm watching every day, he got the Jordans, he got the Bo Jacksons, he got the clothes, the girl likes him. Like, I'm seeing all of that shit, and I'm going to school, and I'm starting to feel like school ain't that important. You know what I mean? And then I started dibbling and dabbling, and then my mom wanted to send me down south and shit. You know what I mean? To live down south, and then
where was she gonna send you?
To South Carolina.
You got family out there?
Yeah, my aunt. Well, I got family. My dad's side of the family from North Carolina. But my mom's sister, she's from South Carolina, so she's gonna send me, which I'm thankful. And no disrespect to South Carolina, but I probably went to this shit, but had 100 kids out there, some shit. You know what I mean? But I stayed. She let me stay, and then I was still trying to figure it out. And I dropped out of high school. I went to alternative school. I went to GED school. You know what I mean? I went to
what grade did you drop out?
9th grade.
So you just stopped going?
No, I was going, but like,
you didn't do the work.
I didn't do nothing. Like, bro, I just found a paper. I don't even know why I had this paper. I had just found a paper that it was like, it was from 1998, and it said that they sent a cutting card to my crib, but it was like they sent it by Western Union. And dead ass, I guess like, cause I used to get the cut cards and just tear them up. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So I guess like they sent it by Western Union. You know, you see Western Union.
You gonna open it up.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking some
Money.
bread or
Yeah.
something. Man, that shit said your son Wayne has, excessive cutting and disturbances and all this other shit. And when I looked at the date and I thought back to the time, I just was going to school just to be social. Like I wasn't learning shit. I just was going in there, going to gym or going to lunch. And then the only classes I like social studies because I like history and I like science. You know what I mean? But other than that, math, I felt like if you could count money, you don't need to know math.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I dropped out. Like I dropped because I got left back the first year. And then the year I was supposed to be getting to the 10th grade, I was getting left back again. And my guidance counselor was like, yo.
So the school held you back?
Yeah, but they should have because I wasn't doing shit.
Right.
Like, bro, I wasn't doing no homework. I wasn't doing no schoolwork because I would go into school and when they writing shit, I couldn't even, it wasn't even computing to me because I was dealing with shit in my neighborhood, dealing with shit in my household. So when you dealing as a kid, you dealing with shit in your household, you dealing with shit in your neighborhood every day. When you walk out the building, when you got to go home, you want me to be a responsible student? I can't even. The
last thing I'm thinking about is
not thinking about no
additional geometry or whatever.
Hell no,
Yeah.
Bro. I'm talking about that shit didn't make it look like from another world.
That's crazy.
Like they put this shit on the board. I'm like, this shit not even English for
What's
real.
the Pythagorean theorem?
I don't even know what that means, nigga. I don't even know what the word Pythagorean means. Like I never even heard that word
What's the
before.
isosceles triangle?
I know what an isosceles is, but I don't know none of that shit.
So do you think, even at that time, do you feel like let's say all the circumstances were good in the house and in the environment, do you think naturally you would have been a good student?
Hell yeah, bro. If I grew up in an environment, I just seen somebody say that shit like, bro, I wish I would have grew up in the suburbs. I lived in the suburbs when I moved to Maryland for 1 year, and I hated it because it was like, I lived in Maryland as opposed to living in the Bronx.
Right.
And like, in the Bronx, I could walk to the store. I was going to the store when I was 5 years old by myself. Because it was the store was right there. You know what I mean? So I was able to cross the street, all this type of shit. In Maryland, you can't do nothing unless you're driving. So it was, but if I would have had that structure of a 2-parent household, I'm speaking for myself. This is not for everybody. But if I had a 2-parent household and I lived in the burbs and I didn't have so many distractions, hell yeah, I would have finished high school, went to college, all that shit. But I didn't have none of that. Damn. You know what I mean? My mom was a single mom.
When you dropped out, how did your moms or your family receive that?
Well, when I dropped out at first, I had to go to alternative high school.
Right.
Because they was like, they said if you drop out, they was like, if you get kicked out, they like, you on the verge of getting kicked out. If you get kicked out, you're not going to be able to apply for nothing else. So the guidance counselor was like, you should drop out because at least you could apply for other alternative schools.
The guidance counselor told you to drop out of school.
But she wasn't wrong because I was my grades and shit was so bad that no other schools would accept me. So if they was going to kick me out of school. When they kick you out of school, it's like putting you on a list where nobody will take you. Yeah. So there's like, if you drop out of high school, then you can go to alternative high school, which is a smaller condensed class. You know what I mean? I could focus more and then I could possibly graduate. So it made sense, but I got into alternative school and I started doing the work, but then I stopped doing shit too.
It's kind of like quitting as opposed to getting fired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way to officially drop out of school.
What you mean?
By not going.
Yeah, you cannot go, but there's no like official like I'm dropping out like.
Well, no, there is. You could withdraw. Like I don't know. Nigga, this is over 20 years ago, but there was a way that you have to sign paperwork, but you have to put the kid into something else. Like the kid can't just stay home, because then you get child services involved. But it was like, all right, taking him out of this school to apply to an alternative school, and it was an alternative school like in the projects. You know what I mean? So I went to that school for a bit, stopped doing that. Then I went to, to GD school. Fucking, man, that was bad. Stopped doing that, and then eventually, I ended up getting an interview that got me into the building that was housing all the labels. I didn't have no plan to like say, yo, all right, I'm gonna get into music. I just knew I wanted to be a DJ when I seen Juice when I was a kid.
I was about to say, what was that first moment? So for you,
seeing Juice, seeing Juice and seeing Q, I was like, oh, that shit was amazing. I wanted to be a DJ, but I didn't like. Nothing I wanted to do, I really applied myself for. Like, I wanted to be, almost every black kid in the hood wanted to be a basketball player at one point in time. I played basketball, but I never really applied myself.
Gotcha.
Like, everything that I wanted to do, I used to draw, I never applied that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would do it, but I would half-ass it. You know what I mean?
So when was that moment that you realized, like, okay, if I do apply, the whatever skill that is, that, okay, I can actually make it in this said field? And and was it with the music industry?
It was with music, but it wasn't like. See, bro, I had no like. All my dreams was nothing involving music.
Got it.
Like my dream wasn't to be in music. Like it just was like, all right, I'm a kid. I listen to music. I debate music every day in high school. We debate music on the block. Like I ended up in the building that had, I was in the mailroom and I see the labels, but I didn't say, oh, all right, I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna do this, then this, then that. I didn't have none of that.
Have a plan,
So I didn't have no plan. So it just was like what it was a kid going from. All this shit is your imagination. Like I wasn't even going to shows when I was. I think the only shows I had probably seen when I was about 18 might have been like Memphis Bleak. We had this place called Skate Key. It's a skating rink, and then turned into a party after the skating sessions. Rod Digger. I didn't really see nobody perform like that, so I didn't like say, oh, I'm gonna be in the music industry or nothing. So once I got into like the mailroom. I just was like, I want to figure out how to do something, but I didn't know what anything was. I didn't know what an A&R was, a manager, a CEO. I mean, I would read about it in magazines, but I didn't really understand what none of that shit was.
When did you decide to take it serious?
Oh, after I got an internship at Roc-A-Fella, but I at that time I still wasn't taking it, bro. I was playing. I spent a lot of years playing, bro.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, cause
but how did you get to the point? Well, and I want you to finish that thought too. But how did you get to the point where you said, "Okay, I want to intern at Roc-A-Fella"? What was the interest at that point?
It was just like like almost every kid assumes that like everybody in the music business has money, a large amount of money. Nobody thinks about a salary. They just think like, even for myself, niggas think I wake up, go to QC, and just bathe in money like Scrooge McDuck, like or P comes in here like, hey y'all, look what Lil Baby did, and just throw money on everybody. Like
that's exactly how it goes.
No, but I when I was a kid, like I grew up watching Bad Boy and Roc-A-Fella and Death Row and No Limit, all these different people. So once I'm in a building and I'm delivering mail, and then I see people, like I see Ja Rule. Like I remember the first time I seen Ja Rule, and this when Ja Rule was like hot as fucking fish grease. It's like, oh shit, like that's a real person, you know what I mean? Like I see Jay-Z and I see Foxy Brown, because I was the mailroom service Def Jam and Universal. Like I think I seen Nelly one time. This is when Nelly like first got signed. Like, so I'm just thinking like, all right, how can I help? And then that led me to I always big her up, my homegirl Omi Ellie McIntosh, because there's a lot of people I always mention along the way, but I make sure I mention her because she ran Jay-Z's fan club. And what I would do was everything was shipping. So, with fans, they writing letters to get t-shirts or, signed CDs and shit. So I would stay after work and I would just help her with the fan club and just shipping and stuff.
So did you take the initiative to link her? Like how?
I can't remember. I think what it was, I was the youngest person in the mailroom. So it was niggas in there 25, 26. Some of them was rapping. You know what I mean? Some of them was just like having a regular job. And because I was the youngest person, I felt like people just took to me because I was a young kid, and I just was like, I was cool. You know what I mean? I smiled a lot. I helped whatever you needed help with. And then I just used to ask. I asked Omi. I asked her like, can I help after work? And she's like, yeah. So I would help. And I remember she gave me tickets to like this when Jay-Z was dropping Blueprint.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And she gave you the tickets.
She gave me tickets to go to the show. It was like, no, what was it? He did something for MTV, and I stayed after work and helped her ship out stuff. So she told me I could like bring some. I took my little cousin. Gabby, because Gabby, my little cousin, she was a big Jay-Z fan. I took her to the show or whatever, and that was like my first real show. And then, after that, we would get tickets for shit just working in the mailroom. Like when How High came out, they gave us like premiere tickets. Like I seen this shit like 3 times before it came out in the theater. So you go back to the block.
Like that niggas show was Jay-Z.
That's crazy.
That wasn't my first show. I tell you, my first show I ever seen was like Memphis Bleak at Skate Key, and it was Rod Digger or some shit.
Yeah, but your first like real show was Jay-Z.
Yeah, but I mean, I used to see a lot of artists in Harlem too, because like when I moved to Harlem, bro, like that's when Mace was like
hot.
That's when Mace was I'm talking about, bro. Seeing this nigga with your own eyes at that time was incredible. Pause, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was insane. So seeing Mace, you would see the Locks and Jada kissing them. You would see Swiss. I remember seeing Swiss. This when Swiss first. I don't even think he had bread. You know what I mean? But DMX, you see him every day. So I grew up in a town where you seeing people all the time, and I was like, shit, I want to drive that car. I want Niggas got the Jordans 2 weeks before they come out. I want that. So it was always the idea for me to get money. You know what I mean? But when I made the decision was when I would help out, and then I got fired from the mailroom, and I got the internship. Then when I got the internship, I was willing to do whatever, but I didn't have nothing to do. I was just sitting around and shit.
You get, and I just want to stick on that for a second. You get fired. Was it something that was kind of out of your control, or was it some bullshit you was on?
It was in my control, but it was, but it wasn't. What happened was, of course, email is such a thing now where you could just email and archive contracts and all of that. But it was like a box with all these contracts in it that was supposed to go to. I worked in the royalty department, and it was supposed to go from the royalty department to the Def Jam or the other way around. And the guy, all right, the dude from Def Jam, the dude who ran the floors for Def Jam, he brought it to my floor, but he left it in the freight area. So anything that's left in the freight area, if it don't get you, they throw it out. But I was supposed to deliver it, and I forgot to deliver it. So they fired both of us. You know what I mean? They fired both of us, right. And when they fired us, it was like, all right, I got fired, cool. I went back to my block. I worked in a sneaker store for a little bit, and then stopped doing that shit. I just called one day. I called Shari Bryant. She the president of Roc Nation right now. Yeah. But she was like, Shari wasn't even, was she an intern? Shari was an assistant at the time. I called her and I was like, yo, can I just come to the office? And like, I'll do whatever, just so I don't gotta be, cause I knew that with idle time what was happening. Like at this time, like my man Manny, I think he went to prison. He got sentenced like 20 years or some shit. Damn. And it's a person I'm around like almost every day. I had friends that was going to jail. Like my friends coming home now from shit they did when we was teenagers.
That's wild.
You know
so how old were you at this point? You made that
like
call?
18, 19.
Okay. So now you working in the office.
Yeah, but I wasn't working. I just was in the office.
You were in the office.
You got your foot in the door.
Yeah, I got my foot in the door.
I wanna ask you about that period of time. I want to fast forward, but I want to ask you about that period of time because I remember you talking about when Ye started coming around.
Yeah.
And he was going like in the documentary. We all saw the documentary, and Kanye was going around like busting in people's office and shit like that. Was you around for that?
Yeah.
So is it depicted accurately? Or
no.
That's
I
not.
definitely want to hear this story because
it's not, bro.
The way it looks is that people like he was playing songs and everybody was just.
It was not like that, bro. It was because first of all. And then I see, one thing I learned, and DJ Akademics taught me this, do not try to fight the internet, bro. Like, you cannot fight the internet. Like, if it's a certain narrative going and you try to jump in the comments and defend yourself, like, you're not never going to win. So, like, I understand why people think that it was like that, but it was not like that. So I would say it's like this, right? When I came around, I'm talking about really, really, really being inside of Roc-A-Fella. It's 2002. I say, like, January, February 2002, right? At this time, Kanye's already a producer there. The first time I met him, he was walking around the office and he had just got the tattoo of all the songs he produced on his arm. And I had read about him in the Source magazine. I walked up to him, I said, yo, you Kanye? Because I'm still a kid, so I think I'm like 19, I'm like 18. Yeah, I'm 19 at this time. So he like, yeah, I rap too. He rapped for me.
Right.
He just rapped for like 8 minutes. You know what I mean? Just rapping. Nah, he just rapped. So then it was like, he was always in the studio because he always producing. So Baseline, you know, everybody know about Baseline Studios. It was only 2 rooms in there though. You had the A room and the B room. And then there was another room. Was it another room? No, it was the A room and the B room. That's all it was. It was 2 rooms. He used to always be in there doing beats. Him and Just Blaze all the time. Just Blaze lived in there. Just Blaze ended up buying that shit. You know what I mean? But Just Blaze lived in there. He was always around. And what I will say is that, like, because I was around state property dudes, they always fucked with him heavy. Because he's on Freeway First album rapping the hook. You know what I mean? And
I remember Beans. I had Beans on the show. He was talking about like taking Kanye under his wing, and he would like really hold him down and stick up for him and do shit for him.
He was a cool nigga, bro. Like he was a cool nigga, and like him, all his homies was around. Like Don C, used to see him every day. Consequence, John Legend. I didn't even know this nigga John Legend did music, bro. I swear I used to see him every single day. But what happened with that situation was this. That wasn't the video that they showed with him coming in the office and doing that. That's not the first time he did that. And you got to think, in 2002, phones don't even have color on them, let alone cameras. So walking into somewhere with a camera is like a big thing. Like, you know what I mean? Only people walking in cameras places with like cheetahs or some shit. Yeah. Like, you're not just walking around with cameras.
Yeah.
So he came in that day And he would do the same routine for everybody he meet. Oh, you Kanye. Oh, you the producer. You fire. I rap too. Rap.
Oh, right.
I seen him do the same shit he did for me on 27th floor, 28th floor. Anybody from that back at that time know that was Def Jam. He would rap for everybody. I seen him doing that at Plain Pat, Cubicle. I seen him do it in front of Leo office, everybody. So he comes in that day. He got these cameras. Now, Chaka Pilgrim, you know what I mean? Chaka was like the head of marketing at Roc-A-Fella. I don't know what Chaka is doing that day, but she handling business. She handles like still to this day, she still work with Jay, Beyonce, all them.
Yeah.
He busting her office.
With the camera.
With the cameras out. He ain't tell nobody he about to do this or nothing. So he's trying to play a song. Bro, mind you, this not the first time we heard All Falls Down. Right. We been heard All Falls Down. The version of All Falls Down he was playing was not even the version that came out on the album. It had the original Lauryn Hill sample on it. So he's playing it, and she like, the fuck is you doing, bro? Like, you got these cameras in. You know what I mean? So her response ain't like, oh my God, like the first time. But again, this not the first time we heard All Falls Down.
And I'm handling business right now.
Bro, I can't imagine right now. My office is over there. I can't imagine a nigga opening up my office without my consent with cameras right now, even though there's cameras everywhere, and saying, yo, I'm about to play you this shit. I'd be like, what the fuck is you doing? You feel me?
And a song you already heard.
And it's a song I've heard 100 times.
Right.
So it was just like, I just felt like the documentary shit, because I'm on this, like that was the craziest thing about fighting the internet. I'm on the, like, you could clearly see when he's walking out, the camera pans, because somebody sent me the picture.
Yeah, I saw
camera
it.
pans, I was sitting in Shari Cubicle.
I remember that.
I'm sitting right there, and he walks out, and he walks like, yeah, they ain't feeling me. That shit ain't real, bro.
That's crazy.
So the thing is, the reason why I asked about that is because people love the come up story. People love like the villain is the big bad industry, and the industry hates me.
Fuck outta here.
And I remember you tweeting something a couple of days ago about that. And I just hate that narrative that like, oh, everybody. I even said that a couple of days ago, like, oh, you got to stop being the victim. Like, everybody don't hate you. Sometimes you just annoying, or sometimes your shit ain't that
bro,
good.
I swear, I asked my father, bro, one time. I said, yo, nothing was going good for me, right? I said, am I cursed? Like he's like, nah, it's just not your time. It's just not your time, bro. It's like, I believe that anything that you really want to do, if you apply, see, remember I was telling you when I was younger, I didn't apply myself to shit. But anything that you want to do, if you apply yourself to that over and over and over, and it's not happening, eventually it will. Because you have to keep going in order to see if this shit is going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, with that shit, mind you, then people try to tell me about how, like, when he got signed. I'm like, yo, bro, when y'all seen the Through the Wire video, and they gave him the chain, he had already been signed for a year. You think this shit is new where niggas be signed for a year and then they announce it and then they like, oh wow, he just signed. No, he had been signed.
Right.
When he did the We Are the Champions verse on remember the We Are the Champions shit on the Paid in Full soundtrack? Yeah. Him, Young Chris, Twista, and all of them. He was already signed to Roc-A-Fella. When he put out his first mixtape, to Get Well Soon, Roc-A-Fella was paying for that shit. I was there, like. So when people try to, and I'm not necessarily calling him a liar or calling them liars, it's a marketing strategy. You have to sell the shit. But at the same time, you can't tell me about what the fuck was happening when I was there.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. And then also, I think something that the timeline in the documentary about him getting in a car wreck, he had already been signed.
Well, he signed as a producer.
I know, but he had already been signed as a producer to Roc-A-Fella.
Yeah.
But then I think he made it seem like, he paid for all that shit out of pocket. I forgot how it went.
With his medical coverage?
Yeah, his
But see,
it was like nobody's fucking with, like.
That's another thing. Even till this day, you know how many people I have a conversation with and they be like, man, the music industry is so fucked up. They don't give nobody medical insurance. They don't give nobody medical insurance, brother. When you sign, you are an independent contractor. You're not an employee. It don't work the same as if you have a job and then they automatically offer you service. When you're making that amount of money, it's at your discretion to pay for that shit. Now, nigga, it should be no reason why you have a $50,000 to $60,000 chain, a $50,000 watch, and you can't pay $300 a month for fucking health insurance.
I agree.
Or for life insurance. So this the thing is like, from the outside looking in, everybody, now I'm not going to say that the music industry is just all fucking good, but people perceive it as if like it's this big, people just taking advantage. Oh, why didn't you tell them that they need health insurance. You mean to tell me I gotta tell a nigga 25 years old, if your back tooth is hurting, you should be paying $300 a month to have a $50 copay so you could go get the shit fixed? I gotta tell you that? Or you should wait till it start falling out and you gotta pay $3,000 per tooth?
Right. I always had an argument about, now, what are your thoughts on, because you are in the music industry, you are an executive, you my homie, but the conversation I be having lately is about record labels taking insurance policies out on their artists because artists be in the street still doing dumb shit.
I've never dealt with that.
But I'm saying, like, from a label standpoint,
I think it's, go ahead, my fault.
From a label standpoint, I understand it. I get it. I don't think it's wrong. I can get an insurance policy on anybody I want to. Right. So I feel like the way the structure is set up, it's like, oh, they're just covering their investment or covering their ass if I sign a high risk artist and something happen.
All right, so look, I know that we talking about this, but who do we know actually collected on a life insurance policy from a nigga dying? I don't
know anybody that
I don't know. Now I seen a documentary with Bill Maher. Not Bill Maher. What's the nigga that made Fahrenheit 9/11?
I know.
You know what I'm talking about? He made Capitalism, American Love Story. And it was companies like Bank of America, Walmart, and they was doing that shit to employees. It was like this one dude who had cancer. They took out like $5 million policy. His family ain't getting nothing. Now look, I just never, so I hear people talk about shit like that, but I don't know, does anybody know if like.
Michael Moore,
yeah. Does anybody know if artist A died and can actually document and say, look, they got this money? Yeah. Like, I think it's an idea for people to say, to just have this thing in their mind or build a narrative of how fucked up shit could be, right? But realistically, everybody should have life insurance policies. That shit costs 2 bands a year for like $10 million. Right. Why the fuck is you spending, I know niggas is spending $2,000 a year on drinks.
Right.
Or bud. Or whatever you into.
Shoes.
Sneakers. Nigga, I got sneakers I paid $1,500 for. So I know, so you mean, that's what I'm saying. I think that like, when it comes to music, everybody looks for the label to be more responsible than the individual that signed.
Yeah.
Like they can be irresponsible. Like it's okay for an artist to be irresponsible. If a motherfucker's 25, 26, 27, 30 years old, and they keep getting caught with guns, or they keep doing whatever, and they keep fucking up, you want the label to have patience and say, why ain't y'all bail him out? He's making y'all money. He's doing this. Newsflash, y'all. Nobody makes more money with their artist in jail or their artist dead. There's way more money with an artist performing every night than a nigga just streaming a catalog from 20 years ago. Puffy would really rather Biggie being alive right now.
Very true.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just all of these things that people set up in their mind, and then, of course, they're going to take this and cut it up and flip it and bounce it and be like, yeah, but look at Wayno. He put his hand like this. He's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I deadass was going to get a tattoo that say Illuminati just to show people how stupid they is. For real. If the Illuminati's real, they don't let niggas in. That's a fact. You know what I mean? And they don't let niggas in. Because I'd have been joined. I'd have been joined that shit. Like, what's the fee? Like, I always wonder with that, like, what is that, like, what's the benefits package of that? Like, you know what I mean? Like the Stormtroopers. I always want to know, like, what Stormtroopers on Star Wars, like, they salary per year and shit like that.
So in these moments, okay, so again, we were talking about Kanye, we were talking about these early Roc-A-Fella days, man. Mm-hmm. When things are going on in the moment, do you know in the moment, like, damn, this is, state property and, beans, and, everybody walking around in the office, rapping, all that shit, right? That these are going to be pivotal moments in hip hop, or was it just a fucking Tuesday? You know what I'm saying? In those times.
It's both.
Whole walking around in the office, like.
It's both. I think it's both. It's like, all right, so look. I hate talking about old shit, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's kind of both, bro. It's like, all right, I'll tell you one moment I knew, I just felt it in my soul the first time I ever heard What We Do in the studio. And it was just Freeway on it. It wasn't Jay or Beans on it. The first time I heard that song, I got chills, bro. Like, I was like, wow, like, you know what I mean? And then when Jay and Beans got on it, hearing it after that, it was like, now, I didn't know that it's going to last 20, like this year is the 20th anniversary of Philadelphia Freeway. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that the record would last the test of time. I wasn't even, at 20 years old, I'm 40, I wasn't even thinking that far. Mm-hmm. But I knew it was a good record, you know what I mean? Like a lot of shit, I don't never necessarily look at it and be like, I was part of something legendary. Because I'm always chasing the next thing for me to do.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't get, that was my problem when I was at Roc-A-Fella, bro. I was so caught up on what was going on. That's why I got tattoos on my hands and my necks and all that shit. because I didn't think I would ever work a regular job. Newsflash, spoiler alert, my ass was right back in the regular job 4 years later in another mailroom.
Right, damn.
You feel me? So it's like, you don't, I mean, you know, but you don't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, now I mean, hindsight is 2020. I could always look back and see a little bit clearer, but I was around for a lot of legendary shit that I didn't know. Like, before Jay and Nas did I Declare War, Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss had squashed their shit, and Jada had bought Beans out at a show. And it wasn't no social media. You know what I mean? But the story is always Jay-Z, Nas squashed they beat, but Beans and Beans and Kiss squashing they shit was a bit. And he brought Beans out in Philly. You know what I mean? I don't even think nobody ever seen footage of that shit, but I was standing right on the side of the stage.
Only reason why I bring that out, and I understand reminiscing on old things, because it's like you've lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Having to talk about it over and over, I understand. It's like, oh, let's get past it. But like you said, 20 years later, and a lot of these moments get brought back up, and folks that weren't a part of those moments, it's like you're a historian in that sense. It's like, so it's on you and people like you that live those moments to show and talk about the stories.
Oh no, absolutely.
You know I
ain't trying to dismiss
it.
But
I want to bring it up because I think we all have that. Never we do the same shit. Like we talk about TDE days, early days. Like, dude, we remember when K-Dot, when Kendrick was K-Dot before then, and him rapping in the projects and shit like that. But a lot of people, they see the footage now, and sometimes they'll have a different narrative of the story. And No, we got to make sure we preserve.
No, bro, it's all these
right
motherfuckers that was 10 years old telling us what the fuck was going on 20 years ago, bro. That be the, like, you was 10 years old, bro. You was 7 years old. You 27 now. You cannot tell me how shit was going at that time. Because it's going to be, what people fail to realize is that it's going to happen again to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it
repeats itself.
Exactly. Like all of that shit, like, it's like, all right, even looking at hip hop right now, you see how, like, I feel like in today's hip hop, there's no maturity like it used to be. Like, when you turn 30 years old, motherfuckers looked at you to act a certain way. Now, I don't believe that you should dress a certain way. I feel like you should dress however the fuck you want for the rest of your life. But, like, people viewed you to make certain types of music or have certain perspective. That don't exist no more.
Nah, at all.
I think that's why people are so critical of, like, somebody like Drake. You know what I mean? Because, like, I think Drake approaches music like, I want to make music for everybody at all times, and people like, well, why you ain't rapping about your son more, or why you don't have a girlfriend, or why you ain't married, or, you know what I mean? And he's approaching it from an artist standpoint. You know what I mean? But at the same time, artists before, they used to do that. Like, I just seen like Dirk right now, and in the Double XL, he talking about like going to therapy, about King Von dying, talking about how much his girl mean to him. You know what I mean? All that type shit. I'm seeing some mature. I'm like, oh, Dirk trying to shift. You know what I mean? I'm seeing it, which is cool. You know what I mean? But I feel like ultimately in hip hop,
you can only have so many.
Is it cool or is it a play?
I think it's both though. This is the game, bro. Like, this shit is a game, yo. It's like, and I don't mean that in a negative connotation of like, all right, if it's a game, that it's a childish game. But I feel like, it's tiers in life. It's like, okay, as you get older, we was just talking about like dumb decisions niggas make, you know what I mean, when you're younger, and how sometimes that shit don't leave you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, as you get older, you gotta show, this used to be me.
Right, the evolution, the growth.
Especially with social media, you know what I mean? Because now I think that's why like Meek Mill, Meek Mill can always, no matter what he's going through, jump in the time machine and show you the very first day he was on YouTube. And motherfuckers be like, damn, if he did it, I could do it. So it's like, that's always been like his thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's
history. Meek Mill's arc is crazy.
Like, his arc is insane.
When you look at it.
But I also, see, when it comes to maturity thing, I feel like that's another thing that he hasn't necessarily tapped into on the music side yet. Now, I get why, because him too, I feel like Meek, he's inspired by like a Dirk, a Baby, Roddy, some of the younger guys, and he like, damn, that was just me. And they grew up, a lot of them grew up on him. But at the same time, it's like, as far as, and now I think Meek's most mature perspective was like championships, because he talked about like what he went through with the jail shit, coming home, was free, respect the game on type of records. But since then, and I don't think it's bad because Meek is always Meek, but I would like to hear like Meek make a album or music.
Personal album?
Not necessarily, because all his music is personal. But I'm just saying, like, come from more of a perspective of him saying like he a father of 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? He got 2 boys. he like trying to keep them away from the shit that he grew up in, you know what I mean? But just he'll talk about it when he does like a tweet, or he'll talk about it when he does an interview, but I would love to hear it like in the music.
So, I mean, when stuff like that happens, right, and you do have either songs or like they'll bring it up in certain instances, but it doesn't necessarily blow over with the fans, and it doesn't do well. There are things like, oh man, well damn, now I gotta do the shit that does work, and it's like going back and tapping into the trendy shit, or the things.
But I think don't you think that's subjective though?
It is, but I think it also is based off what the fans like. With the fans support.
The majority of fans.
The majority of fans, exactly.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Do you get to a point of where, like, where it's about you as an artist? Now we all, we work in the business of selling music. I mean, like we have conversations even to drive traffic towards certain things. But I feel like I always think about this clip of Marvin Gaye, right? And he wanted to make what's the name of the album? What's Going On? Is that the name of the album?
Yeah.
And he said, like, he's talking about, he said, yo, my label, like, he was at Motown. He's like, yo, they want me to make, dance and fun music or whatever. And he's like, it's shit going on that I have to speak about, that I have to. And I think that when you take a stance as an artist, they'll come to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like Kendrick is one of my favorite rappers ever. As much, I don't want it. There's no way possible you can make a sequel to Good Kid, Mad City, because he was in a certain headspace. He went through certain stuff up until that point, and that was all he had done. He probably hadn't toured the world, all that type shit. But he can take a stance and say, I know y'all love this for me, but I'm gonna talk about my personal life and my auntie being a man and all this other shit. Right. And people accept it because they like, shit, we know we gonna get quality from him. So I think it's like, as an artist, you just gotta take a stance, and that's the thing, bro. It's like artists don't have that. I don't feel like, I don't want to shit on none of the younger artists and all of that, but music, the only thing I feel it lacks right now is perspective. It's always been about street shit. It's always been about whole shit. There's never a year you could find where it wasn't a record that was raunchy or like violently disrespectful, but at the same time, it's like, it's just not no perspective in it.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so is that some tips or advice that you give artists when it comes to either management or just, when they're trying to get signed, or like when they're walking into the office and playing press and play on their music for you? Are these some of the things that you're letting them know, like, look, I like this, but man, I don't hear this from you?
Yeah, sometimes, like we had an artist in here one time, me and P was listening to, and Claudia, we all worked together, and this kid, he's playing all this shit, and then I was like, man, you got anything that's like really? And he's like, yeah. He like, I don't be wanting to like share that type shit though. Cause I also think it's a vulnerable. It's tough for a lot of these young kids, cause we've been young, like we was talking about being young men, being vulnerable and talking about your past and things you went through. And he played this record, bro. It trumped every fucking song. And then P was like, man, why the hell you want to play that? Why? That's what you should be doing. And he was like, man, like, but it's the pressure of the homies. You know what I mean? It's the pressure of the homies. Then like shit, he might got the B&B on Friday. Chicks pull up, they don't want to hear about your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think like I do share that, but I also understand why, they make some of the music that they make. I just feel like artists should just be themselves. And I'm cool with like an artist not being who they say they are on a record. Like I'm cool with that. Because
so if they portraying I'm drilling, I'm killing, I'm doing that, but they're Mr. Nice Guy, you okay with that?
It depends on how they do it.
What you mean?
Because everybody says the word art 1,000 times. They say artist. When niggas be like, I'm an artist, I'm an artist, I'm an artist. But if we talk about the word art, right? Art is expression, especially hip hop. Y'all from Cali, I'm from the Bronx and Harlem. Like, it's something that started in the Bronx, went to Cali, niggas took it to this next level, went to New Orleans, went to Atlanta, everybody, and then we built this shit that we got that's we all benefited from it, right? All these niggas is not who they say they is. 90% of them ain't. And the reason why I'm cool with that is because I started looking at, see, when I was trying to be a gangster, I thought that like everything that I heard had to be like real, because I wasn't even portraying to be who I wanted to be to myself. I was trying to be something that I didn't really want to be, but I thought that this is what I needed to be to survive in my environment. So when I would listen to music, I would think that, yeah, this nigga, like, I'd be looking at, and I'm not saying this as no bragging point, but a lot of my friends have been in jail for some of the worst things. I done been around them ones, them type of people. I could look in the nigga eyes and tell what they ain't.
Right.
You could tell how a nigga treat his mother. You could tell how a nigga treat his homies. They ain't no killer, none of that. And I be saying a lot of y'all is just good guys, good dudes, good women and all that. And y'all trying to live up to this perception of oppression. I ain't mean to rhyme that, but that is really a perception of oppression. Like you trying to live up to this perception that you do all of this crazy shit. And you might have been around one thing. You know what I mean? You might have seen something and be like, oh shit, now you the killer. Like, you know what I mean? But ultimately, what is that? You oppressing your people. But I've never looked for Joe Pesci to be a gangster. I met Joe Pesci face to face. I did not think this nigga was gonna pull a hammer out if I laughed too much. Bro, it was one of the most amazing things ever.
I love Joe Pesci.
And he told me the story. Look, he told me the story of the shit in Goodfellas. Oh, you think I'm funny? He told us the story about that. And it wasn't even it was his story, but that wasn't even his own shit. Yo, bro, he was like, yo, we asked him, it was me, Beans, Dame Dash, we was in the studio. Beans asked him, yo, how you came up with that, you think I'm funny shit in Goodfellas? He said, honestly, my wife, you know, we had just moved, and my wife, she had met the neighbors, and we wanted to go out to have like a double date for dinner. He like, we go out for dinner and all of that, and the guy, like the husband, we was talking and shit. He was making me laugh, and I started laughing. He asked me, I think he was a fucking joke. And he said, I was like, what? He said, I was like, I was thrown off by it. And he was like, yo, you think I'm fucking here to amuse you? Like, you think we went out and I'm like, you laughing and shit? Like, and we was like, for real? He said, yeah. And he said, Scorsese, I guess when they was filming, a lot of that shit is improv. Like, most of our favorite moments is improv. He was able to implement that into the film. And it becomes one of the greatest moments. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, a nigga might be around some gangster shit and implement that into his rap. I'm cool with a nigga saying, nah, I ain't never shot nothing. Right. You know what I mean? Because at least you being honest with yourself. I don't like motherfuckers that ain't honest, bro. Just honest with yourself. Right. You feel me?
That's interesting as hell. You brought up, you said Dame, and I just want to, what's your thoughts on where you, obviously you were long gone and doing your own thing, but I never actually asked you about the split, because I feel like Jay went to another stratosphere afterwards, right? But then Dame also have his own shit. But then I would imagine, because all of these people that y'all built this empire with, like you was around, and all of the women that worked behind the scenes, was there like a cultural divide when they split, like amongst the people that used to be around, people that are still around? That shit, like, imagine your parents, like I'm not even joking, bro. Imagine your parents after all these years saying we getting a divorce. Like nobody, a lot of people didn't know what to do. A lot of people still never recovered from that. Really? Because, bro, it's like, I feel like, all right, we talk about like hip hop is like a religion. You feel me? It's shit like a religion, and then you got like all these factions within the religion. You got your Death Rows, your Roc-A-Fellas, your No Limits, QCs, you know what I mean? Your Slaughter Gang, like OVOs, like, bro, every day I woke up when I was at Roc-A-Fella, that was my life. That it wasn't we work at Def Jam, it was we work at Roc-A-Fella. So that was everybody's life. So and then you got to think, like, some people was more cool with Jay than they was cool with Dame. Some people was more cool with Dame and Biggs than they was cool with Jay. And then, see, at this time, I ain't know shit about business. I knew how to work and get a check. I didn't know nothing about, I know how to hustle, work and get a check. I didn't know nothing about, like, what somebody overhead entails or what they, man, when that shit split, bro, that shit was like, it was crazy. It was crazy, but, you know, Jay took certain people from the label, and he took them to Def Jam because he became the president after that. Yeah. I don't know what Dame was doing, because Dame was, nobody really went with him. Yeah. Like, nobody really went with him, but at the same time, it's like, for me, I was one of them people that was stuck in the middle. I didn't really have enough skill set the way niggas was like, oh, we taking Wayno. Right. And I wasn't cool enough with Dame for Dame to say, yeah, I'm taking Dame. I was running around with state property more than anybody at that time, and they didn't have no overhead. The fuck? Guess where I was at? Back in the fucking mailroom. But see, when that's where I was going with, because I know that state prop was like your thing, right? And you kind of fuck with them niggas, and I don't know if you was always in Philly or not. Always, bro. Because I know that
I just seen the Smack DVD thing.
I was on the first Smack DVD ever.
A trip. I was looking at
that's crazy. That's wild. But as you being with them so much, I would imagine. I just never been through nothing like this, so I gotta live through you, right? But when something like that happened, State Prop was not. I know it was more of a Dame thing. Am I mistaken in that? Nah, State Prop was more of a J thing.
It was both of they.
It was their baby.
So well, not really because I came in. By the time I came around, they was already there. The only person that got signed when I came around was Petey Crack. He was the last person to get signed. But it was like Beans was there. Then Freeway came along. You know what I mean? Then Owen Sparks, they was coming with their other management team or whatever. They got signed individually. Then the Young Guns, they had got signed individually. And then they was like, shit, we got all these Philly niggas. Like, we might as well make it a group. They didn't make themselves a group. They was in no group. Bro, these niggas, like Philly, you know how we was talking about like neighborhoods and all that? Like, Philly don't have no gangs.
Yeah.
But like, you got South Philly, which is like Brooklyn.
This
you know
area,
what I mean?
and this area.
Yeah, then you got North Philly, you got West Philly. Owen Sparks from West Philly, Chris and Nee from North Philly, Beans is from South Philly, and Freeway's from North.
So
right?
in LA, we call that sections. Like that's
section. That's how it is. So like from where I'm from the East Side. Then you got like in Harlem, I'm from the East Side. Then you got downtown West Side, and you got uptown West Side, and then you got like all the way downtown West Side. Cause you got the middle part, then you got all the way downtown. Like niggas from where Jim is from, they from like the borderline of East Side, West Side, but they different from like St. Nick that ain't all the way uptown.
Yeah.
So it's like you got all these different niggas, bro. It's all different person. That was never they thing for real.
So who called it? Who named it state property?
I don't know. So at the time,
that was already a thing.
By the time I came around when like they put out the first state property movie.
Oh, okay.
That's when I came around.
Gotcha.
But when I came around, cause I used to think everything was cool, and they be like, man, we not that nobody ain't fuck with nobody, but they be like, man, why should I have to wait for him for me to do this? So why are we waiting for them? We ain't no group for real.
Right.
They was all signed individual. Like Owen Sparks was a group, Chris and Neef was a group, Petey Crack is an individual, Freeway individual, Beans individual. But together, they stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it went how it went.
So when the split happened, then were you still got relationships?
Yeah, I was still around.
You were still around, but what was the temperament like within state property?
It wasn't no state property. It was weird. You don't remember when Beans did Kiss Your Game Goodbye?
Yeah.
Well, not Kiss Your Game
That's what I'm saying.
Kiss Your Ass Goodbye, the Chic record. He was talking about Chris and Neef and them on there.
But I'm talking about like when it was going down. Like,
bro, I didn't know. I found out with the world.
Oh damn. Oh, you didn't know
about the breakup? I didn't know.
So they didn't know. You didn't know. Nobody knew.
No, I think like Chris and them knew because they was on tour. Chris and them was on tour. Chris and Neef was on tour. At that time, Chris and Neef was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
They just come off of having 2 hit records. Now Grammy nominated for one of them. They had a successful selling album. They was on tour with Jay. Jay was doing this new version of Roc-A-Fella through Def Jam. He was already in their ear about shit. Beans was going to jail. I was with Beans every day. Freeway was torn everywhere off of them records he had. Petey Crack
everybody was kind of
everybody was all over the place. Petey Crack was in and out of jail. Oskino was in and out of jail, and Sparks was just in Philly, like trying to figure it out too. So it was like,
damn.
Like when it happened, it just happened. Like because I would be around Jay and them, and I would be around Dame and them, but I never knew. Of course, though, what 20-year-old, 21-year-old kids they gonna be telling they fucking business to?
No, I'm not saying.
Not you saying, but I'm just saying like I went and that was information I was way over.
So you found out with the world, and then at that point it was like everybody just kind of was doing their own.
I wasn't even working at Roc-A-Fella officially when that happened. I was already them niggas fired me too.
How'd you get fired?
Cause of Big Face fucking Gary, bro. Big Face Gary. We got time? Cause I got some. We got a lot of shit I want to talk about. Please, bro.
Please.
So Big Face Gary, Big Face Gary is the nigga who basically got me my job
at Roc-A-Fella.
At Roc-A-Fella, I was already there, but Big Face Gary was Dame's
official for the most part.
He was Dame man that he had just came home, and Dame gave him a job to be an A&R, and then like Gary would come in the office and he'd see me every day. He'd be like, "Yo, what you doing? Come with me." Or what you doing? And he'd just make me do shit. And then once he started knowing that I had, you know what I mean? Because one thing I will say is I was an A&R and didn't know it. You know what I mean? So I was figuring shit out. I found like my old books, me writing all types of ideas down. The way I got fired was this. Beans had got locked up for the attempted murder. He could only record in one place, which was my man Chad West's crib, which was Ryan. You know Ryan? Ryan Press?
Oh,
he the head of Warner Chapel.
I know he is.
All right, so Ryan, who's niggas one of the most powerful people in music now, but at this time he was just managing his homie Chad. I was like Ryan, I'm still Ryan's little brother. Ryan had me close to him because I was the A&R. So I used to go to, like, on the weekends, Chris would give me, like, I wasn't making no money like that. So if Chris and Neef was doing something on the weekends, they had shows, they'd pay me like $200 to go on the road with them, make sure I hold their jewelry and shit, or make sure I waking them up, just being their assistant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we was going to Howard Homecoming. Fucking, they gave me all these beats from Just Blaze, Kanye, Alchemist, few other people to take to the studio. I go to Philly, take the beats to where Beans can record at, the only place the court sanctioned him to record at, and leave the beats there. I go to Howard Homecoming, come back. Dame, Hip Hop, Big Face, few of Bigs, all of them go to Philly to go see Beans, but they go to his crib. They like, yo, what you been working on? He like, I ain't been working on nothing, I ain't got no beats. So they like, you ain't got no beats? They like, you ain't got no beats? All I know, Big Face called me. He like, yo, you a bum ass assistant, right? Yo, so as he talk, he like, yo, Wayno. He like, I'm like, yeah. He like, you ain't leave Beans them beats? I said I left the beats at Ryan house. He like, yo, you a bum ass assistant. I hear Dame in the back going off, like yelling, saying all types of shit. Oh my God. Cool. This happens on like a Tuesday. I start coming to the office. Big Face, mind you, I'm his assistant, bro. He not saying a word to me. He not saying good morning, good night, hello, nothing. He not speaking to me at all for like a week. Then Ryan was up there. I distinctly remember Ryan came up that week or whatever. So Big Face, he come in the office one day. He got like 2 envelopes in his hand. He give them to me. It's 2 checks. I'm like, what's this? He like, yeah, you know, we gonna let you go because I'm like, for what? He like, yeah, you ain't bringing him the beats. I said, I brung him the beats. He could only record there, but Beans had set up a studio in his house. But he wasn't recording in there.
Yeah, how the fuck was you supposed to know that?
Whatever. But I end up, what's crazy about that is State Property had a fucking attitude. Jim Jones had a fucking attitude about that shit. He was mad about that when I got fired. State Property had an attitude about it. Beans brings me back, and I started staying. I started living with Beans on house arrest. I started learning how to record, and I recorded his whole fucking Public Enemy #1 mixtape in his house with me and him. Just learning how to press Command Z or whatever that shit was back then.
You know what's wild is about this story now, how each time you got fired, you were supposed to deliver some shit that didn't get delivered. I was like, when you sit up, like, wait a minute. So you were supposed to deliver some shit that didn't get delivered. It wasn't your fault that it didn't get delivered.
It wasn't my fault.
And you got let go.
I got let go. But I came back though. And then what the crazy thing was when I came back to Roc-A-Fella, like, I became the only way you could get the beans. Like, you couldn't, bro. His mother used to have to call me to
Are you serious?
Yeah, because he lived like 40 minutes outside of Philly, so nobody would go there. And I was the only person that would go stay with him. You know what I mean? I lived with him, so he, like, at that time, he just wouldn't answer his phone. So, like, people would just have to, you know how that shit is, an artist called the person closest next to him.
Hell yeah.
So we did the State Property 2 movie. I was just the closest person to him at that time.
When you was he was on paperwork the whole time y'all did that. Y'all recorded that shit, right?
Yeah, he was on federal probation.
He technically couldn't even really move around like that if he wanted to.
Nah, he couldn't, but he had too many, bro. He had the attempted murder case and he had a federal gun charge. Yeah. So he couldn't do shit. Like, bro, the federal agents could literally come in his house and squeeze out all the toothpaste. They could do anything. That's cool. You know what I mean? So it was real particular, like the shit Young Boy going through. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Beans was going through the same shit. Like, you couldn't come to his crib. You couldn't, like, anybody it got to a point where it loosened up a bit, but most people who could come to his crib, they had to, like, get sanctioned by the court in the beginning. Then it changed the way they could start letting the people come to his crib.
So you were one of the people that was sanctioned to be there full time, or you was there?
I think by the time I got around, it was like it didn't really matter. But, like, I was with him, like, bro, like when he was on trial for attempted murder, me, him, and his baby mother rode in the car to the court every day. Damn. Like, I lived with him. Like, no, bro, I became Muslim in his living room. You know what I mean? Like,
Are you serious?
Yeah, I live with Beans. Like, so Beans. I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. But if I know you met Beans before, bro. If you ever talk to have a conversation, ask that man what I mean to him. For real, bro. Like, ask that man what I mean to him.
When you say that relationship is crazy. I just want to die. I just feel like people, you've talked about it, but I don't think you've talked about it like in depth like that. And I feel like somebody like Beans being who we all know. You know,
yeah, who he was.
We all know Beans to be. Yeah. Beans was.
You would never. It was like the oddest shit.
Beans was the boogeyman.
Yeah, like, he was.
You know what I'm saying?
He
like,
was.
Beans was the boogeyman.
No, bro.
I'm a kid. I'm like, who is this nigga?
Bro, I've seen niggas tremble in his presence.
Real shit.
Grown men.
So for you to be right there, like living with him and shit like that.
I mean, he ain't like me when I first came around him neither.
I don't think nobody really has.
Yeah, he ain't like me when I first came around him neither.
Why not?
So what made you? What do you think?
I used to talk too much.
What do you think? Why do you think Beans took a liking to you?
I just was the only person I wanted to be around him. Like, bro, I don't know. You know what it was? No, you know, when I first came around, I was so green. I would talk, and all them Philly niggas like, man, shut the fuck up. Bro. Like you talk too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like chill. Like you gotta learn how to chill.
Yeah.
So I started being chill, and then like, remember I was talking about being militant?
Yeah.
Like that's why I learned a lot of that from, because like, bro, when we was going through all that Jadakiss, Locks, Dips, Locks state property shit, bro, like I thought life could end any day.
Right.
Cause it was that real. Cause I know niggas, like I'm from New York. I know niggas that's rough riders.
Facts.
And they official in the street people. So like the thing about Beans is that everything with Philly people is they kind of like Brooklyn niggas, bro. Like if they don't like people, but if they, and I'm pretty sure y'all got areas where y'all from, it's like that. Like if you get around them and they really fuck with you, they got nigga. You could call a nigga at 5 o'clock in the morning. He gonna be there for you. But like at the time when I first got around, I was a kid, and then as I started to and I said this before, like how he would give me things to read and stuff. Like he really trained my mind. So like even I would have died for that nigga. Like for real. Like he had me at a point. He had all of us. Chris tell you the same thing. Young Chris, bro, he had us trained like soldiers. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in a negative, like to kill something, but he had us, we believed in him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I still believe in him. That's my brother. You know what I mean? Because he gave me a lot of experiences that I never got on my own. You know what I mean? But he had, I just got close to him, and then when I got close to him, he just took a liking to me, and then I just ended up being his little brother. Him, his brother News, like his actual brother. Like his brother News too. Like, man, them niggas took me under their wing. They really showed me a lot about how to be a man, because at the time when I met them, I was a teenager. They showed me a lot about how to be a man.
I remember just a lot of the street dudes I came up with. Beans was like one of the only, they fuck with Jay obviously. Yeah. But Beans was their guy, because he was the only one that they could relate to.
Because people believed in him.
And they used to hear the stories. Like,
oh yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, it's so many stories I be wanting to ask him if it's cool, if I can say it, like, because it's certain shit that like, not necessarily want to say it, but it's a part of my life too.
Right.
Where I'd be like, damn, could I even say something like this? And I don't want to make him, I never want to make him look bad, but bro, that motherfucker was wild, bro.
Yeah.
That nigga was wild, bro. Like look, think about this, bro. When I joined the gang when I was 14 years old. From 14 to maybe up to 19. Well, I'll say 14 to like 18. I was bugging the fuck out as a kid in the street, doing all types of stupid shit.
Burnt out.
Yeah, doing stupid, dumb shit. I thought that things would get better when I got into music. Wrong. Nigga, when I was around state property, bro, most dangerous time of my life, bro.
Really?
Most dangerous time of my life.
Beefs, or was it just because?
It was beefs, but these niggas was dangerous people, bro. Like, them Philly niggas is dangerous niggas, bro. Like one thing I say is, like, don't play with no Philly niggas, bro. Like, them niggas, they don't, like, even I joked about the gang shit, bro. They don't even take none of that shit. You tell a nigga this is the triple, quadruple OG. They like, fuck that. Yeah. I remember one time a nigga said something about somebody having a teardrop. You remember when the teardrop meant something? It's like, man, we'll tear that shit off that nigga face. Nobody care about. They just, bro, they gone. Yeah. They gone. So like within that, I was trying to navigate how to be an A&R and how to maintain my space. And in order to maintain my space, you got to be like them to an extent.
Do you think you became an A&R at Beans' house?
No, I was A&R before that. Cause I was A&R in the Young Gun shit and all that. I just didn't know what it was.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about doing the job. I'm talking about becoming.
Oh, becoming? Oh, I finally arrived? Nah. I felt good I felt my arrival moment was when we did the State Property Chain Gang album. Like I A&R'd that album along with like Biggs worked on it too. But like I feel like for myself, I had the most to do with that album.
So that was your day. That was
because
Wayno.
Beans in them was like, yo, I want you to do, like, that was the first time that Beans said, I want you to do this. And then the Young Guns, they like, yo, we need, like, I want to make sure that this song get on there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was my first time working, and they was giving me, yo, this what we want from an artist perspective. Task, you feel me? So
I want to get into your ability to pivot, because throughout the things, what I'm hearing is, you know, moving from one spot to the next spot, working from this person to this person, getting this position to this position. How were you able to pivot in those moments? I know it was more of a survival tactic to say, man, I just got to do it. But mentally, like, how were you able to kind of like go from one position to the next, one area to the next, working from this personality with that personality? For you personally, how was that?
Harlem, bro. One thing about Harlem, bro, from the moment you learn how to turn 4 quarters in $1, you gonna keep doing that shit. So like that was really my mentality. It was like I never looked at. See, the thing about me is like a lot of niggas try to front like they never worked a job. I've worked many jobs before. I've worked at The Gap. I've worked at fucking Bed Bath & Beyond.
Could you imagine seeing this nigga at Bed Bath & Beyond?
Nah, dead ass, bro. I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond. I worked in mail rooms. I worked at Fresh Direct. I worked in mad different places, but I also got my taste in the streets. You know what I mean? Like, I've done a lot of, like, I've tried to hustle everything you could get your, I've probably moved everything you could possibly get your hands on, you know, in that sense. But the thing about it was like in Harlem, everybody's just looking for the next thing to do. It's and that's just the mentality. It's like, all right, if this ain't moving, try this. If that ain't doing, try this. So for me, I just wanted to keep doing shit. So like me pivoting was always more so about me like keep going. Cause I ain't gonna front, bro. It's 2 times in my career where I dealt with like a deep depression. You know what I mean? And that was one when the Roc-A-Fella shit happened. The split. And then the Davey shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like when the Roc-A-Fella shit happened, it was just like, all right, fuck it. Because I had already worked regular jobs, I had a kid at this time. I'm like, I can't be too proud to go work. I got a child to take care of, a family I'm trying to build. You feel me? So my whole thing, my kids really, you know, pivoted that and helped me with that type shit.
Your pivot, I want to go back real quick. Be speaking of the pivot is when Big Face, is that his name? Big Face Gary. Big Face Gary. When he gave you those 2 checks, right? What was your first thought?
I was devastated, bro. I was devastated. Now I was hurt. I was devastated because not only did and Roc-A-Fella ain't never, Big Face, I love you, Big Face, because you was the one to tell me stop risking my freedom for these niggas because they was not going to do nothing for me. I risked my freedom for Roc-A-Fella. Right. Nobody told me to do that. Jay-Z ain't tell me to risk my freedom. Fucking Dame, Big Face actually came to me one time and was like, yo, listen, bro, you get caught doing certain shit, we ain't bailing you out. Damn. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't no, he told me that, he like, this ain't no fucking, this ain't the streets. You not in no gang. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you get caught, I was running around with hammers on me and all that shit. He like, yo, you get caught with a gun, bro, ain't nobody doing nothing for you but call your mother. Damn. You know what I mean? And, but that's why I feel, respect that. But that's why I feel how I was saying earlier about other artists, because I had people tell me that. If Big Face ain't tell me to carry no guns and none of that shit, I just thought that this the law of the land.
I gotta be on point.
I gotta be, if niggas is, if we publicly beefing with artists that we know something could happen, bro. Before, Styles P my favorite, that's my brother now, but nigga, yeah, we scared. Not scared in the sense, we like, yeah, something could happen, so if a nigga, we on the road and a nigga pass me a hammer, I'm not saying no. Cause I'm thinking if I say no, niggas are like, oh, we can't have this nigga around us. He's scared.
They can't trust you or anything.
So I was with whatever. Right. So you know what I mean? But that was my first, I was devastated because I thought of all the things I had done. You know what I mean? And then it was just like, I don't know, I was fucked up, bro.
Do you remember how much the 2 checks were?
One was for $400. I think the other one was like $500. I still got them.
You
never cashed them?
Nah, I cashed them. I mean, I started got the stub.
$900, and you were risking your freedom.
Do you keep those as motivation? Just like, man,
I keep a lot of shit. Like, I still got sneakers from when I was a teenager. Just that I keep the look at, because what helps me, I was telling my son this, is like when I look at certain things, it helps with my memory. Like if I look at a pair of sneakers that I had when I was 15 years old, I remember everything I did in them sneakers. Really? Yeah. Like I remember I know my entire life based on NBA championships, music, and sneakers. I can tell you every single championship from 1991 up until now, every sneaker that dropped every year, that year, almost every album, every song that dropped within them years. That's how I remember everything. So that's why I hold on to shit. So I hold on to shit so I can remember. So the stubs is like, I kept it as like I'm gonna show these niggas one day. You feel me? Like
you talked about the depression. Why? I mean, everybody knows the Dave E story at this point, but why the depression?
Because first of all, I didn't really know what the word depression meant till I was like 34 years old. That's first. I've been depressed basically my whole life. You feel me?
Yeah.
I didn't know what depression actually meant. But what happened is it's devastating, bro. It's like, you know, for just me and East, and me and East is good. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying this in no space to try to make him look bad or nothing. But this is just my story as well as it is his. You know what I'm saying? Like at the point where we split from one another, I put a lot in. It's a relationship. You know what I mean? I put a lot in. Like I used a lot of my relationships. I put in a lot of work. I put in a lot of time. We used to pray together. Like I took him to become Muslim. You know what I mean? Like same way how Beans did with me.
Yeah.
Like we did a lot. So like it wasn't so much, and money too. Like you making a certain amount of money and then you start living a different way. Now I was smart with my bread. I ain't buy no Rollies, no car. I was driving the same car. Only thing I did, I moved out the hood. Like I got, as soon as I made enough bread, niggas ain't even know. Niggas some people still think I live in Harlem now. Bro, I'm out the hood.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, mentally it's like, cause now I gotta figure it out again. So now it's like, damn, back to square one. Right. You know what I mean? But I ain't go back to the third. But yeah, that mentality. The mentality. Or some people might back to the block. Yeah. Like even, bro, at that point, the depression came in was because I started to second guess myself. I started to not have confidence like I had. Like I had, bro, to do what me and East had done. Like I was just looking at some shit the other day. And I always wonder why. I be like, people always, when they find out that I managed him, they be like, yo, for real? Like, and I always wonder why, right? But I look back, like, the other day, literally, just was looking at shit, and I was like, damn, bro, like, we did a fucking lot. We was performing in rooms where it was 15 people. Mm-hmm. And then we was performing in rooms with sold out, with, you know what I mean? So we was just we put our all into that shit. So when it ended, it was like,
it's like naturally when you split from your brother, you know what I'm saying? I can only imagine like what that feeling is like. Somebody you coming up together, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, you invested a lot and making, you know, going your separate ways. What did you feel like that taught you in those moments?
What it taught me, you can stop. We could pick up.
No, just go ahead.
All right. Thank you, bro.
And what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself? Because you mentioned.
I learned that I'm that nigga.
There we go.
I learned that I'm that nigga. Mm-hmm. I know for real, bro. Cause, bro, confidence.
That's key.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. Like,
and how did you tap into that? Because a lot of people suffer from that. And that's the reason why I bring it up, because a lot of people are going through those moments.
Well, I talk to myself a lot.
Okay.
I was the only child for 10 years, so it was just me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't had no sibling. Like, my sister, I had siblings, but I ain't know them from my dad's side. It was just me, and then my mom had my little sister when I was 10. So it was just me. A lot of times where I got my ass beat, or I've been sitting there, I had to think with my own thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I just started assessing myself, and my mentor set free at this time. He used to tell me all the time, like, yo, bro, yo, you smart. He would like, I feel like to have not even a career, but to have like a good life, you got to have people to pour into you. And what he would pour into me was confidence. Like he would tell me like he the one that made me comfortable with buying toys again. Like I used to.
Who's this? I'm sorry.
Set Free Richardson.
Okay,
he the nigga that started And One mixtape.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I don't even know what I call him my sensei and my Jedi. You know what I mean? That's what I call him. But he was the person that gave me confidence in that time, because he was telling me like, yo, bro, this shit, it happens to everybody. Don't get discouraged. You smart enough to figure it out, and you will figure it out. But understand that you've gotten thus far in your career, not necessarily by what artists you work with, but because of your resilience and because of your mindset to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. And then I started, and it was, I didn't go out the house. Like, I mean, I'm talking about locally. Like, I went to the supermarket, but I didn't go to no industry events for like maybe 2-3 months. And then when I popped out, people was just like excited to see me, ask what I had going on. I was also hearing rumors. Like, that's the funny thing about rumors. I was hearing so many rumors about shit I did. I heard I stole. I heard all this shit that's what I'm saying. Depression. I can't fight that. Right. It's like niggas is like, yeah, that nigga was stealing, or he fucked this up,
running
or that. Running my name through the mud. No, bro, I was literally trying to pull up on niggas like for real, bro, because I was losing it. Yeah. And then I had went out one day. I think I went to some Def Jam party, and when I went there, it was so many people that was just like happy to see me. And not only were they happy, they was just like introducing me to other people, like, yo, you know, Wayno, he's a great manager, like you should probably have him on your team. And they was plugging me to different people, and I rediscovered my confidence and just like believing in myself a bit. You know what I mean?
I love hearing that because a lot of people talk about going through that in at a younger age, right?
Yeah.
Or going through that in the beginning of the story. What I love hearing about that is that you've already had some success and hit that road and hitting that rock bottom at that time and bouncing back from that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's important that people talk about that because sometimes people think once you have your failure story, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
And
I don't believe in making it. You know the term made it?
Yeah,
I don't believe in that.
I'm with you.
I don't believe that you make it. There's no such thing as making it because if you really truly want to sustain like a life where you continuously growing, there'll never be enough. Like my dad used to always say this shit to me, bro. My dad was in the street up until the day he died. And my dad used to always tell me, I used to ask my dad, like, him being 60-something years old, he's still out here busting moves and shit. And I used to be like, yo, Dad, why you? He be like, man, ain't never enough money out here. Ain't never enough. He like, I ain't gonna be able to do this shit forever. So as long, and I lost my pop. So this is conversation he used to have with me. He like, I ain't gonna be able to run around and do this, what I do. So as long as I can do it, I'm gonna do it. He's like, that's what you need to do. As long as you can get to it, get to it. Don't
in your own way though.
Yeah, in your own way. You know what I mean? Like don't feel sorry for yourself. Like you gonna go through shit. You know what I'm saying? And I also don't believe that you have to go through the worst things possible to be successful. But at the same time, everybody got their own path in this shit. So it's like I'm always about like, fuck it. All right, this ain't working. Let me try that. If that don't work, you know what I mean? I'm gonna do something. It ain't never gonna be a day where you gonna see Wayno just, yo, what happened to him? I'm never gonna be the what happened to him nigga ever in life.
Even in your darkest moments, did you feel like you were gonna bounce back, or did you that 2 month moment? Did you feel like, damn, all right, shit, it might not be any bouncing back from this?
Yeah, I thought like I strongly considered getting back in the street. And I hate that. I hate it because I just hate the whole idea of like that survival tactic of the things that we got to go through just to make our loved ones feel good, that somebody else got to get hurt or somebody else got to feel pain. You know what I mean? So I hated that, but I had strongly considered it because, bro, I dropped out of high school, bro. Ain't many options for a nigga like me. I tried to get I tried to get my CDL. Like one of my best friends, she said this to me one time. She said that her problem with like dating niggas is because I just seen you do too much. So if I'm working and I'm doing something and I want a man that does something with himself, a nigga can't tell me because she like I've watched you try shit. Like bro, I tried to do everything. I tried to become an armored truck guard. I tried to do mad shit. Hell yeah, because that was the only thing I could possibly make money with was I didn't have no felonies and I was eligible to get a gun license. So I was like, shit, let me try to be an armored truck guard. At least I can make me some bread. You know what I'm saying? I probably would end up trying to rob the shit. You know what I mean? But
you would have had a job at first.
Right, I would have had a job at first, but not on some G shit though. Like, bro, I tried mad shit. Like, it's mad shit I tried that failed.
I wanna stick on fatherhood for a second, man, because I've heard you speak about your father. Obviously, I don't know you too well, but just from seeing what I see, you're an amazing father to your son. You mentioned your daughter as well. What dad advice do you have for other fathers out there that's either in the beginning of their journey, in the middle of their journey, maybe don't have the best relationship with their kids, like kind of encompass that as far as fatherhood?
I'll say I don't know about like not having the best relationship with their kids, but I will say like don't give up because the kids won't ever give up on you. Okay. Like kids won't never, bro. A child is the purest thing you could ever have in life. A child won't turn on you as long as you do what you're supposed to do. Like I don't like the term. Well, and you're a father, right? Yeah. You'll understand where I'm coming from with this. You know this term, good dad. I feel like it's like a consolation prize almost, right? Like because people just say I got my mom. As a father, it's like we always got to put the good or great in front of it because there's so many that's not.
Right.
But at the same time, you just being who you are naturally. Like your instinct as a father is just to protect, nurture, and love your children. And as long as you do that, bro, like fuck anything. Like I don't care what job, whatever you trying to do. As long as you always make yourself, as long as you never give up on your children will never give up on you. And when you are along your journey, the children is never going to look at you, especially if you have a good woman too. You have to have a good woman. You know what I mean? As a father, like as a man, I feel like every great man need a great woman, you know what I mean, in their corner. But as long as you don't give up on your children, man, they like, because you're gonna look at them and be like, every time it get tough, you're gonna look at them and be like, fuck else I'm gonna do? I gotta feed them kids, man. You know what I mean? I gotta take care of them kids, straight up.
You still talk? Are you? I want to put a button on this, but are you still good with Beans? Like,
yeah, hell yeah.
That's your man.
I just seen him. I just seen him in Austin.
How did the beef end between the state prop and the locks?
Well, so when we it's crazy because like, when I was living with Beans, when Kiss put out the Champions Hit mixtape.
Yeah.
Boy, when I tell you we was running that, me and Beans listened to that shit every day. We get up, we listen to that shit every day, and Beans was like, yo, I gotta do something with Green Lantern. I gotta do a tape with him. So what happened was
some competition shit?
Not necessarily competition. He just loved it. Like we just loved it so much.
Even though they wasn't fucking with.
Even though they wasn't fucking with. We would listen to it every single day. So I'm gonna tell you, because a lot of people don't know this neither. So look, I forgot how I got in touch with Green Lantern. But Green Lantern at the time, I think he might have been a DJ for D Block or something. He had just produced it. Everywhere we go, all that shit. Yeah. So
shout out to Green.
Green was like, yo, like me and him was talking, and me, him, and his manager, we was talking. And mind you, at this time, bro, I'm 21 years old. And he's like, yo, like I want to do it, but like we got to get some sort of conversation going because those are my guys. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right. And then Green Lantern had Styles P called my phone. Styles P called my phone. I'll never forget this. We was in the office. And
you knew it was him calling?
I didn't know it was him calling until he called and I answered. I was like, hello? He like, yeah, I can speak to Beans. I'm like, who this? He like, this SP. I was like, hold on. We was in the office. I said, yo, Beans. I'm like, yo, this Styles. He like, all right.
What?
I gave him the phone. Look, he called my phone.
That's crazy.
I gave him the phone. They went in the room. He went in the room. He talked to him. I wasn't there for the conversation, but that happened a few times. Like the first time, remember when Game was going crazy, so Roc-A-Fella was talking about that? Game called my phone to speak to Beans. I swear to God.
Because nobody get in touch with Beans' phone.
Nobody get in touch with him. I was the nigga who get in touch.
You was a number.
I was next to him all the time.
Everybody gave your number away.
Yeah. So exactly. So they had spoke, and then that they had a conversation. And whatever they had a conversation about, I don't even remember because I didn't ask Beans what they spoke about. But then, Styles had just came home. He was locked up. He had came home. And then I know him and Kiss, they had a convo in between then that led to him going on the stage with him for Powerhouse that year, some shit. But yeah, it was he called my phone.
So Styles calling your phone is ultimately what ended the beef.
Nah, I wouldn't say it ended the beef.
You and Green Lantern having a conversation.
Me and Green Lantern just told me, like, I'm a kid, bro. Like, he just is like, yo, listen, bro. Like, he like, I'm doing this tape. Like, I'm doing it, but like, those my guys. Like, they gotta have. He like, I can't do this tape without them having some because it's going. It look crazy.
Do you think that they would ever got to that resolve as fast though if Green hadn't said that?
I don't know. Because, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. We was all planning on jumping out the window. Like, I'm pretty sure they was planning on jumping out the window too. And I'm talking about, like, when it comes to tears, I was probably at the bottom of that part of jumping out the window. But we done had run-ins with them. Like one time we had a Sunny from Hot 97. She a chef now. She got shows on the Food Channel and shit. But she was a personality on Hot 97. She had a birthday party. She had the Young Guns. She had Jadakiss hosting it, and she had the Young Guns performing.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, bro.
In the middle of this?
And it was in Brooklyn. She had Jadakiss hosting it, and the Young Guns performing. So
she got tricky.
So Styles is locked up at the time. Kiss was already in the building. We sitting outside. And they asking us, like, they come out and they say, yo, could nobody, like, not get out the car and all that till Kiss and them leave? So first we like, all right, right? So we sit in the car. We see all these trucks pulling up. J Hood hop out. Fucking Sheik hop out. All these D Block niggas hop out. So Chris like, fuck that. He like, them niggas ain't gonna make us feel like we ain't. So Chris like, fuck that. We getting out, right?
What?
We get out the car, bro. We get out the car. Now we getting on the line. So J Hood, I just remember, like, they was leaving out. Them niggas was leaving out, bro. And one of they niggas like, man, fuck that. D-Block, what y'all niggas want to do? What y'all niggas want to do, right? So mind you, I mean, Chris and Neef, we young.
Yeah.
At this time, I think we might be 20, 21.
Jeez.
And but we got some niggas with us.
Yeah, right.
So I remember like Chris getting searched and shit, and J Hood just standing there, J Hood grilling Chris. So they started laughing at, like, they said J Hood looked like somebody. I couldn't, they said he looked like somebody from their block, but they laughing. But J Hood was dead serious. Like J Hood was like staring at us and shit. And then we go inside. Look, we go inside the joint. So we go inside. It's this one nigga from Philly, bro. I met him that one day. I never seen this dude again. But he was like some treacherous nigga, right? He goes in there.
The boogeyman.
And then he was a boogeyman. And you know how like you be in the green room and it's always like one or two niggas that get in. You don't know who these niggas is.
Who
So
are these niggas?
some niggas was in the room. They ain't have no business being in the room. And the boogeyman nigga, he like, yo, who in here ain't got a burner? Raise your hand. So some niggas start putting their hand up. He like, it's all right. I got a burner for everybody who ain't got one. What? So the two niggas that's in the room is like, oh, I think they was fans. They just ended up in the room. Them niggas start looking at each other and shit. But so because then they telling us they like the D Block niggas. They said they staying. They waiting for us to. They waiting for y'all to leave.
They waiting outside.
They waiting outside for us to leave. They waiting outside for us to leave, bro. But then Chris and Eve, they performed and all that. Then when we left out, I think the police was like, they pushed them to leave because they didn't want nothing to happen. They knew what was going on, bro. Yeah. Like we literally had hip hop police following us everywhere.
Word.
At that time. You know what I mean? But bro, I got a lot of stories. Like it's too many. Like that.
I could imagine once you guys get together and have these stories, like from your perspective and their perspective.
See, I don't get high, so I remember all type of shit that they don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, they don't remember, man. I be telling them like, you remember that? Like
yeah.
I want to
go. Sneakers I got on. I don't know.
You from Harlem? Mm-hmm. Who started No Homo? Who started Pause?
I don't know. But I say No Homo probably Cam and them. But Pause, the first time I ever heard Pause, I heard Jay-Z say it on Reasonable Doubt. He said,
real?
Yeah, he said he like Pause for any of my niggas. But see, Pause wasn't like, it wasn't what it not is. To say gay shit. It was like Pause was like, if you said something foul, like you be like, oh that nigga, like if you say something fucked up about somebody. And he be like, Pause, you can't say that. You know what I mean? Because he said it, he like Pause for all my niggas that. I think it's, what's the name? It's a song with him and Memphis Bleak, but it's a bonus song. It wasn't on the original track list. But I don't know, but I mean, that's just a way of life where we from, bro.
That's some Dipset shit.
Yeah, I mean, Dipset could take credit for it, by all means. You feel me?
All right, and then I want to get to the weekend rap, but I want to get your thoughts on lyrics being used against artists in court. Like, is that something that are you mindful of it? Are you talking to your artists about it? Or like?
Yeah, I think it's a two-part thing to it. Cause I understand, like, if I was a prosecutor, what I would use. Like, you know, I know exactly what I would do. Right. If I was a cop, if I was a prosecutor, I know exactly what I would use.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's easy.
It's right
you
there.
make it easy. I think that, like, see, the problem that we have when it comes to hip-hop is that we want niggas to be desperados, but then when they go to court, we want to prove that they civilians. And the thing about it is most artists who end up in a murder situation or a shooting situation, you hear stories about, like, I've heard tons of stories about artists that's in the streets that's done shit before, and I ain't the police. Right. So imagine a motherfucker who this is his job, right, or her job to figure this out. Yeah. So I feel like this, right? Hip hop is expression, which is great. I feel like I said, I'm cool with a nigga penning some shit that he ain't do, but you can't be talking about like motherfuckers talk about isolated instances. Like I watch all these drill kids and these kids be like, yeah, little shotty got hit in his head. You know what I mean? We left him on 61st dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like they'll be like, damn, 61st. Wait, let me look up that murder. 61st Street shot. Oh shit, we got him.
Connecting the dots, yeah.
So you can't be mad. You like the problem that I have with hip hop today is like these kids aren't artists. Most of them is not artists, you know what I mean? Like most of them just trying to find a way, and the skill set is so low. Mm-hmm. It's really like the skill set is so fucking low that
barrier to entry.
Oh, you gotta now you could just type it into a computer. Computer could come up with a rap for you, and then you could put a voice on it, and now you got a whole new song. Mm-hmm. And because the skill set is set very low, and there's I wouldn't say it's not substance because there's a ton of substance in music, but you got to figure out where that shit is at. There's no perspective though. I'm cool with you telling me about the story that happened in your neighborhood if you're breaking down like the intricacies of how it went and how it affected others and how it affected you. But if you out here, if you know that you kill, the object of being a criminal is for nobody to know that you're a criminal.
Facts.
You're not a good criminal, you know what I mean, if everybody knows that you're a criminal. But if you're a criminal and you're talking about your criminal history, then yeah, you should be held accountable for that in the court of law, because they can, if you say something about something that happened, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nigga kid, the thug shit, like, you know what I mean? Because they going crazy about the thug shit. I love Thug, bro, but two things could be true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as I love him as an artist, if they could prove that this motherfucker did something, there's nothing I could do about that.
Yeah, that's not
but if you know that you did something that niggas could eventually prove, you shouldn't be talking about it.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? My father, I say this, my father always told me the duck would have never ended up on a hunter's table if he didn't quack. Keep your mouth shut.
Oh, that's crazy.
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yo, Pop said that.
My pops told me that shit when I was like 15 years old, bro.
Damn.
He said duck would have never ended up on a hunter's table if he ain't quack.
That's crazy.
I want to get into a couple of more things, man. There's so much we can get into.
I know, man. I know we got, that's why I said
I want to
we got to do like.
See, I want to.
That's what I'm
All
saying.
right, so how much time do we have?
We got time.
Okay.
We got time.
All right.
But I want to make sure we
Y'all gonna break this up?
Man, that's just my. This
All right.
This shit gonna be out. This
All
like
right.
that. What do you feel like? Well, let's talk about the AI shit, right? Do you, as somebody that's obviously an executive, like the thoughts, concerns, where it's gonna go? Like what do you guys like sit at this present moment when you see, the joint that Drake in the Weekend just came out? It's like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? And low key, they playing that shit in some clubs too.
That ass?
Yeah, they're playing the shit.
DJs playing that shit.
They're playing that shit.
See, that's out of pocket, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So
No,
it's like,
for sure.
so as an executive, what are your thoughts when you start seeing this, and how do you guys get ahead of it? Thoughts, concerns?
I mean, honestly, bro, I'm not gonna say I don't think that much into it. I do, but I don't. I think that beyond the music, we're gonna have a big problem in the future. Like, NYPD just released like 4 different versions of robots that they about to put on into the streets. They got the Robo Dog, they got one that look like R2D2, and they got some other shit that they're gonna be having just going places. And I mean, I don't want crime. You know what I mean? I don't want crime at all. You feel me? Because crime oppresses my people. But like, when we starting to get policed by shit that doesn't have a soul, or doesn't have a heart, or doesn't have a brain, and this is just the beginning. And bro, I'm only 40 years old. I can't even imagine what's gonna happen by the time I'm 60. Inshallah, I get to live that long. But I think we got, bro. Y'all ever watch Westworld?
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it. I haven't watched the whole.
I watched like the first season, I think.
Please finish it. Westworld is terrifying, bro, because it's gonna be a point in time where, and I say this almost every interview I do, it's gonna be robophobia is gonna be a thing. Robophobia is gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be one day your daughter might come home with a robot, and now the robot thinks for itself and speaks for itself and it wants to date your fucking daughter. Like, if we could think, people, oh no, that'll never happen. No. I never knew that I'd be able to call niggas on the phone and look at them. Yeah. I never thought I could be able to fucking type in an address. And I remember when Google Maps first came out. I'm talking about like 2007.
Blew my mind.
And it was like the beta, and we was blown away by that.
Because
MapQuest.
MapQuest.
You had to print it out before you leave the house.
MapQuest, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like, beyond music, we got a lot of, and this is why I say, like, you know, when it comes to specifically our people, I can't speak for any other group of people but our people. We're so concerned with why this group of people could do what they do, or why that group of people could, and we're not concerned with one another. I think that we got to get more to like understanding, because we can't get away from technology.
Right.
No,
it's here.
It's here. It's just here to stay. There's nothing we're gonna be able to do about it. What we got to do though is, as a people, man, we got to start embracing each other more and just getting more in tune. We got all these different tribes. Yeah. We got all these different tribes. Me and you joke about the blood and Crip shit all the time. I told Punch this shit. I said, hey, listen, y'all niggas cannot be mad about no Bloods nowhere else, because as much as you could say that they ain't real, nigga, they fruit off y'all tree.
Facts.
But the ideology's got to change. I'm not telling kids to sign up to be Blood. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's like the ideology's got to change. If we create all of these different rules and all these different factions and sections and all these different things that we live and die by, literally, but we can't come together on nothing. We in trouble as a motherfucker. Chat GPT, man, shit, this nigga still beefing from 60 years ago from some shit that happened with great-great-grandfathers. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just think that that is an issue. But at the same time, bro, when it comes to that shit, I don't even think about the music shit when it comes to the AI shit.
You think about world, like, just
I think about the world, bro. You see a video, I seen a video of Russell Westbrook shitting on the Clippers and he ain't say none of that shit. You seen that? Y'all ain't see that video? It's a video somebody made of Russell Westbrook like talking about the Clippers and shit, and it's him. He's talking, but it's not him. They just made a video.
Crazy.
But you could do that. But I could send that around. Like, think about this.
It'll be viral.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
the world is big enough where I could send that to 50 people, and out of the 50, at least 30 or 25 are gonna be like, yeah, I believe that. You wanna know why? Because the Illuminati exists. You know what I mean? Like, it's motherfuckers that think like that.
The digital age, for sure, and
Yeah.
spread that information, and that misinformation goes out there, and a lot of people won't even check the resource, and it's like, damn, people will believe it before they even fact check it to see what's going on.
That's a fact.
I want to get to the QC shit, but before that, you talked about our people sticking together, and then all this shit just happened with Adam. I know you fuck with Adam, right?
Yeah.
Adam22. I've personally fucked with Adam, and I think that I remember somebody just sent me a tweet. Somebody just tried to call me out, right? They sent me a tweet where I was like, "Yo, like I fuck with Adam." And I think that what he does or what he's bringing, I don't think he's a threat or some shit I said or whatever. And they reposted the shit and it starts circulating. Like, remember when you said this, DJ?
So what? You said that at that time because that's how you felt.
Right. But I don't think that people lack nuance.
Yeah.
Like timing and nuance and shit like that, right? So when it comes to people participating in our culture, do you think we need to embrace more? Do you think we need to police more? Like, what do you think?
I think we just need to have stances. Like, I will say, me and Adam22 is cool. You know what I mean? I ain't never been in his house for Thanksgiving.
Right.
But we do have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, he brung me on it. He tried to trip me up with certain questions in the beginning when he noticed he couldn't do that. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say it as a bad thing because who's not going to try to get a rise out of anybody that they can, right? But what I did, used to tell Adam about this, because AD my brother. I know AD 10 years now.
Me too.
You know what I mean? That's my brother.
I'm 15 in with him.
And he good guy, man. Good fucking guy. T-Rell, I never got it. Me and T-Rell spoken a few times. I never got a chance to actually meet it, but I connect with this nigga so much without even ever meeting him because it's just so many similarities between his life and mine.
Yep.
And I love the way he is with his family. I like all of that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know house phone. I've met some of these brothers there. Now, I said to Adam, I said, what you don't realize that you do is, like, even when you get, like, the gang members, former gang members come up there, you got some of these niggas that's up there crying about their experiences. Bro, you got a form of therapy going on up here. And you got men, black men specifically, that are being vulnerable in places that most of them wouldn't be that vulnerable in a setting with me or you. You know what I mean? Because we look at how if I say this thing to you and I start shedding a tear, are you gonna call me a bitch in your head? Or you gonna try to emasculate me and make me look funny, make a clip out of it? And I said that to him a while ago, and he's like, "Oh, I never thought of it like that." You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, he but not never thought of it like that. But I can't remember the specific words, but he was like, "Wow, like that's interesting. You think of it that way." You know what I mean? And what No Jumper is, I loved it as a brand. But when I started seeing, like, I felt like the house phone shit. That was like, bro, whatever that man do in his private time, that's his private time.
Yeah.
And also, you don't know how comfortable he is with people knowing that.
Facts.
Now, and this is the problem that I have with, like, because even women do it too, right? It's like, women a joke about, like, and I don't know about no other group of people, I'm just speaking for black people, a joke about, like, a man being undercover homosexual or trying some shit out or whatever and laugh at it, joke on it. But then y'all say that men need to be more vulnerable and talk about their shit or whatever the case may be.
In the same conversation.
So I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, like, I don't know what it is to have that, you know, them feelings or whatever, but I understand why he was so upset. And I'm just like, yo, bro, like, at the point where you throwing your own homies under the bus, and these motherfuckers is not, you know how niggas is, bro. Like, the motherfucker might hurt somebody over Adam. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I know that people around have protected Adam.
That's what I'm saying. So
I've defended Adam in certain.
And what I'm saying is like, again, I've never dealt with him in that instance, but I got it. Like, it's
some LA shit.
It's some LA shit. But I've never dealt with him in that instance. But me and him do have a good relationship. But, you know, like, even Flacco, bro. I like that kid Flacco. He's crazy.
Insane.
He's insane.
I just think he's inexperienced to the point where he'll say things, and now he's not as bad as he used to be.
He's not as bad as he used to. But see, the thing is like,
to me, he's an Akademics baby.
He is an Akademics baby. That's why I was on his ass crazy. Pause. But like, the thing about Flacco, and I had reached out to him about this, is like, what I don't like about what media is today, is like with media when we were growing up, bro, like we had to read about the things we wanted to know, right? And like most of it was centered around music. If it was some controversy in it, yeah, we got that too, but it was more centered around the artist and that the third. We at a point now where people just interviewing anybody off the fucking street and like
street dudes.
Bro, you can't talk to niggas. What niggas don't realize, and I said this to Flacco like in his comments one time, cause he's reached out to me. I think he's a cool kid or whatever, but. Like, bro, you can't be talking about niggas ratting and even with act, you can't be talking about that type of shit, bro, because niggas get hurt behind that. Even niggas who's rat, just because you a rat don't mean you a bitch. It's rats that kill people out here. So when you start, like you having a lunchroom conversation about some shit that you shouldn't even be involved in at all.
It don't have nothing to do with you.
It don't have nothing to do with you. So that's the part of media that I hate, bro. I hate that shit because the conversations is not even predicated on how much, like y'all know, y'all even though that you know me and you know a little bit about me and we getting to know each other a little bit more today, you still did homework. Right. You still did homework. Even though you my guy, we speak. It don't be about that. It be about
what's the moment.
What's the moment?
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And with, again, that's oppression, bro. That's oppression, like, whether you choose to realize it or not. If you say something to this brother, now look, all right, remember the shit with Flacco when the nigga spit on him and all that shit? All right, look, the nigga done spit on you. Now, when he go back to hit, you don't know his peer group is. You don't know how burnt out his OGs is. Yep. And them niggas be like, man, you should have. And then now he might get into it with one of his niggas because some shit you said that. But what was y'all was having a conversation about another grown man having surgery on his ass and that? Like, what the fuck is we talking about?
Right. I agree with you. And I think me and you had that conversation before. It's just, what I personally believe is just accountability. I've been punched in my face before. Oh yeah, me too. I don't think that people have been punched in their face. Yeah. But that's part one. Not that I advocate for violence, but then part two is
I advocate for violence. It depends. I
don't advocate for it.
It depends.
But I also feel like the accountability isn't there because none of these people be outside. I've literally never seen Akademics in person. I've literally never seen the Flacco dude anywhere I'm ever at. Right. I've never seen Adam anywhere I am. Right. I've never seen there's people that are there that I have seen. Right. But not where I'm at. Right. And I'm around.
So with Akademics.
And so my personal thing is you have to answer for the things that you say. Right. At some point, huh? You have to answer for the things that you say, right? So like the way I'm looking at it is if I'm saying something about Wayno, I'm gonna have to see Wayno. Yeah. Whether it's at an Amazon Christmas party.
Oh, and most people you run into, they don't be even on that type. I done had, bro, in this internet age, like when all this internet shit started, bro, I got on Twitter, I might have been like 26 years old when Twitter started. So it was niggas that was talking crazy on Twitter I done ran into before, and it was not none of that. But the thing about it is this, right? Like, I feel like this, bro.
I get it's entertainment, but but I can't, like, for instance, I can't tweet right now. If I pick up my phone and I tweet, man, fuck this nigga Wayno, blah, 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 my phone is going to ring within 5 minutes. Yeah. Little homie, what's going on? Woo. Like, there's...
But see, but it's also... See, it'd be funny, bro, because, like, the way I feel about that shit, bro, is this, right? Because, you know, I worked with Akademics for 3 years.
I know.
And crazy thing about Akademics, bro, he really, 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 really a good guy, bro. He's really a good guy. He really knows a lot about music that people don't think he knows. What people don't really understand is that, like, when I say he an entertainer, he like an entertainer in the sense of a wrestler that know how to turn that shit on and know how to turn it off. Cause I didn't know, like, when I first started doing media, I didn't know that I was doing entertainment. I just thought I was talking. So I thought I have to be, and don't get me wrong, I am myself. But I'm talking about in the context of, like, bro, I've literally seen, like, when the lights come on, I'd be dead sleep, all that shit. Lights come on, you know what I mean? He know how to turn that shit on. And the thing that I think a lot of people, because I'm going to defend him to an extent. It's a lot of shit he do, and that's my guy. Yeah. It's a lot of shit he do that I don't agree with, but I will defend the fact of when people do shit, he brings it to light, and then people mad at him bringing to light the shit that y'all was doing. So if y'all two niggas is beefing with each other, and y'all feel like it's cool to be able to, like, you think it's cool to talk shit about him on your stories, you think it's cool to talk shit about him on his stories, y'all getting disrespectful, this, that, and the third. If I say, hey, y'all, come look at this shit, everybody like, man, you trying to get black men? No, nigga, y'all niggas need to learn how to cool out to an extent. Now, there is a side of Act that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
That he is really aggressive when he starts talking his money. But I also understand why he's like that. If Ack ain't lived with his mother in a long time, you know what I mean? But if you was the poster child for the nigga that lives in the basement with your mother and you ain't got no money, people talking about how you ain't got shit, you a bum, you probably in there pissing in Gatorade bottles because you know what I mean, you don't leave the computer, you a geek, you a nerd, and this, that, and the third, and you become a multi-millionaire from this one room. Why are you gonna see me outside? You ain't never gonna see me outside.
No, I'm not saying.
Not you specifically.
I'm not saying that he has to be.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's a different level of accountability that comes with it.
Yeah, I think that, but the accountability, he does take accountability because he owns up to what he does. You know what I mean? He definitely, the only thing he did that I didn't like was when he said, with Blueface is like, all right, so fight me then, cuz. And he like, he kept talking about Lil Baby. He's like, I'll fight Lil Baby. And Blueface is like, look, I box, nigga. Like, you getting disrespectful every day. Let's fight. And he like, man, go, your girl a hoe. Like, that's the accountability I don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a different lineage that I got to report to.
Absolutely.
That doesn't allow me to move. That's why you don't see me. I don't see you doing that.
Nah,
You'll never see me on the back and forth on the internet.
I got, bro, like you report to. Like, I represent my family when I walk out the door, bro. Like, I'm not, like, my kids is, like, my oldest is about to graduate from college. Like, my son in high school, my young, like, they on the internet. They know what shit is. They know who their father is. I'm not doing nothing to make them look crazy. Right. And on top of that, like, I'm cut from a certain out shit. I got certain affiliations. I got big homies. You feel me? Like, I'm not going to be out here because my biggest thing with that, bro, is this, right? Like I said earlier, I risked my life before I was in music. I risked my life during music, and now I'm at the point that I'm at now. I'm not going to be out here perpetuating that I'm on some type of shit that I'm not on, because where does that leave the next nigga who looking at me that wants to be me? I ain't never think nobody would want to be me. I done met so many people who be like, yo, Wayno, I became a journalist because you. I'm like, that's impressive because I'm not a journalist. You feel me? So it's like, I know that when I get on this mic, pause, when I speak, I gotta uphold a certain standard for myself. I uphold a certain standard because I represent my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's motherfuckers that's from Compton that never met me that feel a connection to me. Like,
I know my homies definitely fuck with you.
Bro, I was in one of my mans. My man Chop. He from Jordan Downs, bro. I went to Jordan Downs one day. I ain't even know that niggas knew who I was, bro. I was walking out. Niggas was tweeting, yo, this nigga Wayno is walking in the Jordan Downs by himself. Mind you, I'm there with my man. I just went to go see my man. I know my man. He was locked up with one of my close friends. One of my friends that's doing life in Philly. They was both lifers, and then my man he beat his charge. My man didn't beat his charge. So we always kept in contact over the years. But my man Chop, I went to go see him one day. Do you remember when Kevin Gates was shooting a video in there?
Yeah.
It was the day Kevin Gates shooting a video in there. So that's the thing. I know that I'm from Harlem, but I represent motherfuckers in Watts. I represent motherfuckers in Chicago because I'm a black man. I represent motherfuckers in Toronto. I represent black men all over places. Now, I ain't accountable for everybody, but for the ones who is like me, for the ones that, you know what I mean? Like, you've been trying to figure it out. You might have dropped out of school and felt discouraged about that. You trying to get a job, won't nobody hire you. You want to do something passionate in your life, and you trying to make it. I speak for you, so I ain't gonna be out here acting a fucking fool.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I think that's where a lot of people like would kind of wish that in certain areas that, you know, we talked about media and highlighting some of those stories. It's like, yeah, you're right. If this person is beefing, this person is beefing, we could talk about that shit.
Yeah.
If you really didn't, then you wouldn't bring it to light. You know what I'm saying? As much as it probably could, or amplify that said beef or said bullshit story or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now, that can't happen with every single thing. I understand that, but I think that's where a lot of pushback comes from. It's like, damn, you know what we're up against already as black men. We already know what we're up against. Why would you even want to perpetuate that even more? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I don't want no like. I remember this is a long time ago. This brother, I think his name was Saeed, from he's from Philly. And he was just talking about, like, and I'm Muslim, and he's just talking about Islam. He like, bro, when you raise your hand to harm another Muslim, the gates for hell open up for you immediately. And he was like, I would never harm another Muslim. All right, and I was like, he said, I don't give a fuck what the motherfucker do to me. I'm never harming another Muslim. You know what I mean? Not saying that he wants to harm anybody else, but he's like, I would never. And I started thinking, that always stuck to me. You know what I mean? Like, how I remember shit, like, it always stuck to me. And I was like, damn, like, now don't get me wrong, I'm going to protect and defend myself. But I don't want no problems with another black man, bro.
Yeah,
Because what is it gonna, like, all right, you looking at me, it been times where I'd have been looking at a nigga and I just like the nigga outfit, but I ain't know how to say it. You know what I'm saying? And the nigga take it, fuck is you looking at, nigga? And now, like, I don't want to back down because I want, nigga, what's up? And that fast, bro. And then if even in the point where myself or himself says, you know what, bro? It ain't nothing. Now I gotta make bitch ass nigga. I know you don't want. Why I gotta act like that to you? You fuck around, it might be my cousin. You fuck around, it might be, and not even. You got a family you trying to make it home to tonight. You got shit that you probably gotta do tomorrow. Why I gotta pull a gun? I gotta pull a gun to prove to you that I'm right about this situation.
No.
We gotta do that to one another.
That's not.
Won't pull no gun on nobody else though.
I think that's my point, and that's why I was asking about the culture thing, as far as because something we always talk about is like us, right? Mm-hmm. That look like us, come from where we come from, but then when you have others or white people who participate in the culture, they could low key take off they hat and go home.
Yeah, they could do it.
And be white. Like you could log off at any time and go be a white man in America.
Right.
And so I think those are the things that I'll be looking at like, damn, that's because this is us.
Yeah, I always wondered what white Twitter was like.
White Twitter.
No, on some G shit, bro, because it's like I got white homies, right? Like not a lot, but I do got some white homies. Like one of my mentors, like, I talk about him whenever I get a chance. He's the second most important man to my father in my life.
Word.
This white man named John Sigel. That man instilled confidence in me that, bro, if I didn't have this motherfucker in my life, I would not be the man I am today. And the way I feel about like what we speaking about specifically is like, all right, you can have like these opportunities where you can monetize, you could jump in the game, do whatever you do, and when you don't look over your shoulder when you go home. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know, bro. I'm
with you.
Fucked up. I don't live, bro. The loudest thing around where I live at is leaves falling on the ground at night. That's the loudest thing, and I still be. You know what I mean?
Bro, I got this whole thing that I do when I walk in my house. I live behind a gate. Mm-hmm. I got this whole little routine I do when I go in my house. I check the front. I'm looking out the window. I check my cameras. Yeah. I'm looking out and it's like, why are you tripping?
But the thing is too though, right? It's like this country is built off of capitalism. So anybody's going, because we do it to one another. The thing that I want us all to wake up and see, right, is this, right? And I get a lot in life out of fiction. A whole lot in life out of fiction. But it's in the Planet of the Apes, bro. When Caesar, the first Planet of the Apes, the remake, when Caesar's in that place, and all the apes is beefing, and he take that stick and he break them shits up. He like apes. He break that shit up. He break that shit up easily. And he take the 4 sticks and put it together, and he hold it, and he try to break it, and he can't break it. Like apes stronger together. You know what I'm saying? See, what we do is we apply that to gang tactics and gang mentalities and this, that, and the third. And we try to, niggas still saying today, oh man, gangs do good things like walk old ladies across the street. When the last time you seen a nigga walk an old lady across the street in your fucking life?
No.
We have to change the ideologies about how we are and the DNA makeups that we've built up over the years. The traumas that we passed on to one another over the years, and we got to change that shit, bro. I know that I could get a lot of my homies in the same spot because we all agree with red. You know what I'm saying? But if I could get y'all all in one room and I can't teach y'all nothing. Like I asked one of my big homies one time, I said, is this all this shit is? Is all it is just us harming each other and hurting each other because this nigga don't know his shit or that one? We don't educate one another. We don't teach each other. Like how bigger would we be if and not trying to be big, not trying to take that shit out like that, but how much more will we have as individuals if I say, yo, I'm gonna teach you how to fill out a job application
or get investments
or get investments or teach you skills
or business credit.
But we could come and bro, if I had a problem, I could call 100 niggas and they'll all be there. I don't know, bro. Yeah.
I want to talk about QC before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is your exact title?
Executive Vice President of A&R and co-head of A&R.
When you got the call, what was that call like?
What call?
From QC, from P.
I ain't get no call.
You didn't get a call?
Nah, that's not how it happened.
How'd it happen?
I was doing Everyday Struggle, and like P, he seen me on IG or whatever, cause I guess he watched the show.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first thing I knew I was on his radar was it was OG Mako when they was having their problems, and I had I just said some shit to the degree of like, cause I do love artists and all that, but like artists like they gotta be accountable. A lot of artists don't be accountable for their actions and shit. And it's like whenever something go wrong, it's always the label. It's never
Always.
You never I seldomly hear like artists say, yo, you know what, I ain't gonna lie, man, like they lined me up. Like I could have did so much shit if I would have just put some more work in. So I was kinda, I don't even remember what I said, but I said some shit about OG Mako or whatever. That's what he had told me not to come to Atlanta and all that shit. And P had posted the clip. You know what I mean? He posted the clip on his page. But we started speaking, like we just speaking to DM on some what's up shit, you know what I mean? And then when my turn was coming out, Lil Baby album, he hit me, he was like, yo, he DM'd me like, yo, send me a number. I sent him my number and shit. And he like, he called me. He like, yo, bro, he like, man, he like, yo, I watch that show every day, man. He like, yo, I want Baby on that show. And I was like, for real? He like, yeah. He like, you get him on the show for me? I'm like, hell yeah. So at Complex, we got your protocols as to like producers, talent and all that shit. I skipped over all that shit. I put in the group chat. I said, listen, Lil Baby, and it's like right before the pandemic happened. So I'm like, yo, Lil Baby about to drop. I'm like, P want him on the show. We need to get him on the show. So they was like, all right, you know what I mean? They was happy, like even talent. They was happy that but he had reached out to me. So he came on the show after we interviewed Baby. P had, he pulled me to the side. He like, yo, what you doing later? I'm like, shit. He like, yo, come. He like, come to my hotel later. Come chop it up with me. So I stayed in the city all day. Went chopped it up with him, and we just had a good conversation, just talking some regular shit. Like, yo, bro, he like, man, I've been building in this shit. He like, man, I done built up this label with just 5 people. And I was like, 5 people? That's fuck. Like, and then he's like, yeah. He like, now don't get me wrong, it's a bunch of QC affiliates, but talking about as far as staff, he like, when he asked me, he's like, yo, where you work at? And I was like, I work at Asylum. He's like, well, I said, but my deal is up in 2021 because I signed in 2019. I was like, my deal is up 2021. He's like, all right, well, in the future, if it makes sense for us to do some business, I mean, I want to do some business with you. He's like, I watch the show a lot. I hear you speak. I think that you're smart. You know what I mean? I know you got a history in the shit. I'm like, all right, boom. So from that moment, bro, at that moment, I knew, I was like, I'm going to QC. Like, It wasn't even, Asylum ain't have a chance. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Asylum. Yeah. I love Asylum. Dallas and Gabby, you know what I mean? And we just built a relationship over a year. And I had met Coach K a couple years prior because I was managing Dave, and that's when they had Yachty. They did the freshman cover together. Yep. But I guess they did their homework on me, and like people had good things to say. So like I made myself available, bro. Like I was just flying to Atlanta every time I got a chance. Like anytime I'd be like, yo, you in Atlanta this weekend? He'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, I'm coming to Atlanta. Sometimes I wouldn't even see him. I just come out here. And then it was one time, bro. It was one time I was like, well, at that time I was telling my dad, my dad was sick. I was telling my dad, I'm like, yo, I think I'm gonna move to Atlanta. And he was like, cause I didn't know, at first I didn't know, he had cancer. I didn't know he had cancer. Yeah. But he was just like, yo, he like, man, if that's what you gonna do, like do that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like go ahead, like do that shit. So I had, like after my dad passed and I got past that, I was like, yo, I want to move to Atlanta. So I told P, I'm like, I'm gonna move to Atlanta. He's like, you'll move down here? I said, I'll pick up everything to come here for this. And he was like, so if you do that, I promise you, we gonna do some shit. So, we kept talking and shit, and it was one time where I was kind of unsure because we had all these conversations, but it wasn't like, all right, here, you sign up on Monday. Right. So it was like, I came down here and Bankroll Freddie was just put out his tape. He was booming and shit, and then I went to the club with P, and I don't stand on no couches and none of that shit, you know what I mean? But my man Corey is like P brother, He's like, yo, P wants you up there with it. So I stood on the couch and I say, yo, listen, I just while we in the club, I said, listen, man, like I'm just showing you that I'm here, like I'm coming down here, I'm gonna be down here, like this is where I wanna be. Like I really wanna be a part of QC. And he was like, all right, he's like, all right. And then from that point on, like we kept speaking, and then shit happened. You know what I mean? And I bought a house down here. You know what I mean, moved my family down here, all that shit.
That's fire, your willingness to show like what I'm willing to do to make this work out. You know,
we always call that extra credit.
Extra credit, taking an initiative, man. I think that's super important. A lot of people may not know about the story or just anybody's story. It's like that. Sometimes those little things, because you could have just sat back and just waited for the call.
I don't want to, I don't want to die trying.
Hell no.
That's a cool concept. Oh, get rich. I don't want to die trying. Like I don't want to like bro. When my pops died, that shit was like, that's like the strongest person. Like he was my best friend. You know what I'm saying? So like when I had to bury my dad, I was like, man, I put my mind. I was on a time. I was like, damn. This nigga was stronger than me all these years. I just started getting my mind to get. I'm like, am I gonna live to 70? Like, that's how I started thinking. So I said, I don't wanna, and I don't think like that no more. But I just like, I don't wanna be the person that's just like, man, well, what happened with that? Oh man, I was thinking on doing it, but I don't wanna be that, man. And to me, this shit ain't that serious, bro. Like you either going, you got people who do, don't, and watch.
Say that again.
You got people who do, who don't, and who watch. The people who do, they get up and they do it, and you get inspired by them, and you look to them, you read about them, you watch their interviews, you study them, and you implement. And I'm a product of all of that. Kevin Lyles, Irv Gotti's, Dame Dash, fucking Leor Cohen's, Lisa Brunson, Walter Jones. I could go on for days. Like all my people that I watched, I grew up watching, and then people I watched getting into shit, and I model myself behind. And then you got the people who don't. That's just like, that's unrealistic. Like people told me that when I first started. Like, how you gonna make money in music? Like you don't rap, you don't like that's not real. Like you can't make money in that shit. Then you got the people who just watch. You know what I mean? The people that's like they the ones with the most commentary. They the ones that got
most to say.
I had I can't imagine walking into like a doctor's office and telling doctors, but people do it. You know what I mean? But I can't, my mindset is not like that to go tell a doctor how to do their job. Motherfuckers that tell me what the daily ins and outs of my job because they listen to music and watch interviews. They be like, oh, I know what be happening.
Yeah.
Shit really be going on, but y'all don't be telling people like, get the fuck out of here. So I didn't want to be a person trying, bro. I just was like, I'm willing to do anything that for what I want. I got, that's a lot of people who depend on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what drives me though. Feel me?
I think the most important thing is the initiative that you took to just do that, like hop on the plane and come down here and shit like that.
Flights was cheap as shit too. During the pandemic, bro,
I'm just saying that nobody's doing that. No, everybody's sitting complaining.
But see, I did that when I was in the mailroom.
No, that's you though.
What
I'm saying is the people. Yeah, the people they complain.
Oh nah, bro, niggas don't. If you ain't getting paid, motherfucker be like. I ain't now. Look, I do feel like people should get paid for their time if you're doing something. But you're a motherfucker tell me that they want to be around me and learn and want me to pay you want me to teach you. You want me to pay me. You want me to pay you for me to teach you. Like you want to be around me every day and soak up game or let me shadow you and all that. And then they be like, shit, can I get paid for doing this? No, what the fuck? Like you gotta earn, like that's why I love that name of that, earn your leisure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you gotta earn that shit, bro. You gotta niggas don't understand the pain I put in this shit, bro. Like I put in a lot of time. Like even man, you niggas don't understand, man. Your woman want to leave you because this shit not necessarily want to leave you, but like, man, listen, it's a time where you can't pay bills, a time where you can't, and you mean to tell me that you could sit right next to me, and you don't have to pay no dues? Like you could just.
Not gonna happen.
Just because you DM me,
no.
Like you could just be with me every day. Like you could just ride in my car or be around me or be around and shit. Nah, man.
So let's stay right there real quick before we wrap, man. I want to kind of get into what does stand out to Wayno when it comes to either music.
That's what I was gonna ask too.
What
do you look for in an artist?
Or, an artist, or even people that may want to shadow you.
Well,
like
producers is fucking insane, bro.
Why is that?
They mad scientists, bro. Like all producers is like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic, bro. Them niggas is crazy. But because they create sounds. I'm saying that to big them up though. You know what I mean? You gotta be a little bit off to come up with like great records. But for what I look with an artist is I just look for somebody that's gonna be honest, bro. Like that's all I ask. I don't care if like if you a street motherfucker, if you're not from the street, just be yourself. Like, I could appreciate a person being themselves at all time. And even if you don't know how to be yourself, let's discover that together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you willing to be coachable, that's the biggest thing, bro. Like I talked about Dave a lot, and and some of the stuff I said, people could take and try to flip and bounce. But one thing I will say about Dave is when we went on that run, bro, I told this nigga, I looked this nigga dead in his eyes, and I didn't even know what I was gonna do. I said, bro, you just doing this just you? He said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna make you rich, I promise you. And every big check he got, I got. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just needed somebody. I had worked with so many people along the way that they would take certain things from me, but they wouldn't really listen to me because they was looking at, oh, this nigga, who this nigga? Like, you ain't got a car, you ain't got a rollie, you ain't got a chain. That's what make us in our community listen to each other. Our materials, or you ain't pulling out bands. How much money you got? Too. But the reason why you should listen to me, motherfuckers, because I'm coming up with all this shit because I live in the projects and I want to leave. You know what I mean? I have a determination.
Yeah, like, my motivation different.
My motivation different, but now it's like, it's just, that's one thing I say about East. Like, when we was, bro, I'm talking about, and it was a lot of times he hated a lot of shit I wanted. I'm like, yo, we need to do this. Like, one of the biggest things, bro, that we did, we had this record, Keisha, you know what I mean, where he talked about getting robbed. There was a story, it didn't really happen, but he made up a story about getting robbed. And I used to go to the BBC store all the time. It was this girl that worked in the BBC store, pretty girl that worked there. And I was like, yo, bro, we do this video, can't be no Dominican chick, can't be no Puerto Rican chick, none of that. We need a black girl, her name is Keisha. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and what we did was I redid like DMX. The way I did the video was, you ever seen Ant-Man?
Yeah.
I remember in the first Ant-Man how, like, when the dude was telling the story, every time he tell a story, people would be talking, he'd be telling the story, and then somebody be saying his words.
Yeah.
That's how we did the video.
Right.
So if you look back, it's like Dave sitting telling his homies what happened, and as the shit is happening, his homies is acting it out, like saying certain shit. And then what we did was, the way how we pushed it, bro, I printed up, this was just some guerrilla marketing shit. I told Mass Appeal, like, yo, let's make a wanted poster. I made a wanted poster of this girl's face, and I put this shit all over New York, bro. All over New York. Bro, when next time I went to BBC, she like, yo, you know how many fucking people came in here talking about, did I rob Davies?
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
You used the actual girl from...
Yeah, we used the girl. I used the girl from BBC. I asked her if she would do it. She did it, and then I used the still of her. I just took a picture. I made a wanted sign, and it said, if you find Keisha at Davies on Twitter.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And people was tweeting us a million. I'm talking about, nigga, that shit went viral, bro. Like, it went so big, but that was all like East just trusting me. You know what I mean? And saying like, all right, and it worked. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what artists, I just look for people that's gonna be honest, people that's gonna be coachable, motherfucker that want this shit just as bad as me. Like, I've been in this shit 20 years. I still want it.
Do you have any advice for people that's like, you spoke on a few people who took you under their wing, mentorship. Do you have any people that you look at, like, that's coming up that you respect or appreciate what they
Absolutely.
doing?
Absolutely. It's so many though. Like my man Mont Brown. I love the LVRM brothers, man. Like I love Justice, Tunde, all of them. I'm really inspired by my peers. Like, I'm not the nigga who be like, oh, I don't really, you gotta watch and see. Like mostly all the people, like, you know, I remember when I met Dave Free, bro. Me and Dave Free was talking for 30 minutes. I didn't know who this nigga was. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like Dave Free. Yeah, man, like him.
Dave is the one who told me about this book called Cash Flow Quadrant. Changed my whole...
Send that to me.
Bro.
But yo, bro, it's so many people, like, I love with, like even with my man Meezy over at Slaughter Gang. You know what I mean? All my homegirls, too. Latrice Burnett, my homegirl Barreline. Shari, of course. It's a lot of younger ladies in the game that's coming up now, too. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember everybody's name.
That's all good.
But it's so... I'm just inspired by... This hip-hop culture is the only thing I could always look at and say is definitively black. It's black. Like, it's black music. This is our shit. White people is not, and I'm not trying to upset nobody, but they not unapologetic about country music. You know what I mean? Like, they know that that's their shit. Rock, to a certain, you know, they stole rock from us, whatever the case may be. I know that when it comes to hip-hop, you got your hat on backwards. I got on this Raiders hat. I never been on a Raiders game in my life. I got this Raiders hat on because of hip hop, because I seen Eazy-E with it when I was a kid. Right. And I always liked it. I wear all black because of Run DMC. You feel me? I got a bunch of tattoos because I seen Lil Wayne and them doing that shit when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, hip hop is not just music. It's a lifestyle and a culture that belongs to us. And I just feel like we need to lean into that more because it's the only shit we really got 100% of, but we need to learn business. We need to learn business. We need to empower people who know business. Like, I'm grateful to Coach and P for empowering me.
Yep.
And continuously, Simone, who I work with, Branger, who I work with, you know what I mean, Tamika, like, QC is a lot of women that work here. Like, I'm really, we just got to empower one another, bro, and we got to hold each other accountable. We got to build each other up. We got to stop. I do believe in paying dues, but we got to stop oppressing one another and putting each other in bad situations. I'm not going to make you do a fucking $50,000 a year job for $200 a week. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta,
make me go get your cheesecake.
Yeah, I ain't doing Don't do that. I love Diddy, man.
I'm just saying.
I love Diddy. Diddy knew who I was with it. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. What? Nigga, I was at Coachella. That nigga said, damn, Playboy, you ain't gonna speak. I said, oh shit, what's up, bro? Like, you know what I mean? So I love, but even still though, man, like he's empowered a lot of people, and I just feel like in this culture, bro, like what y'all doing, you know what I mean? Even on the podcast side, on the, you know what I mean, on the media side, bro, we just gotta lift each other up, man.
Yeah.
We gotta just lift each other up.
Now, one thing I want to end off on, man, and this is part of the manifestation shit. The year can't end without Wayno doing what? The year can't end. What's the thing that you thinking about? What's on your bucket list? What are some items, some things that you trying to knock off?
It could be professional, it could be personal.
Anything.
I say two. I say professional and personal. On the professional side, I say specifically. There's a few artists that I'm working with I haven't mentioned yet because I'm still ironing it out. I want to help them get going. The year can't end without me breaking Baby Money. The year can't end.
I like Baby Money, man.
Yeah, the year can't end without me breaking. Well, I won't even say breaking, but helping Ice with Vezo get to a new level. You know what I mean? Like the year can't end on a personal level without me getting more in tune with my health. You know, I'm just coming off the month of Ramadan. I learned so much about myself as I do every year. Getting more in tune with my health. The year can't end without Duke Deuce becoming one of the biggest stars out here because I believe in this kid so wholeheartedly.
What's the name of that dance he do?
Gangsta Walk.
The Gangsta Walk.
But yeah, the year can't end without me becoming a better father, man, a better just mentor, a better example. I say that in closing. Like I just want to be a better example every year. You feel me? And if you don't think you can, you can. You know what I mean? Some of y'all can't because y'all don't believe, but that's okay. Y'all gonna learn how to believe.
I fuck with that. Better example is fire.
Bro, man.
Thank you, my
guys. We appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate
on a Sunday, man.
On a Sunday, man, we spent that time.
Yeah,
you know I'm going to need y'all when I start my pod.
Hey, man,
you know what I mean?
Whenever you need.
Let's do it, man.
Wayno, Homegrown Radio, Chuck Dizzle, DJ Ed. We'll catch y'all next time.
West Coast.
East Coast.